the good times roll with the fun of Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
Bring your family, bring your friends. This is where the fun never ends. Everybody knows when you're at the game, the good times roll. Hey, Kernels, let the good times roll. Here at the Kernels, let the good times roll.
With the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show, here's the voice of the Kernels, John Rogers.
On a day traditionally set aside to honor and rever our fallen heroes, Memorial Day, we're glad to bring you one of the traditions of Memorial Day, and that's baseball on this Memorial Day holiday. Whether you're out and about or on vacation or getting caught up on some yard work, hopefully taking time to do what this day is set aside to do, and that is to honor those who have served and provided the freedoms that we enjoy throughout this country. Memorial Day, we can add to its special feeling with baseball. Memorial Day baseball from Veterans Memorial Stadium, where the Kernels will try to rebound from a very tough loss yesterday to the South Bend Silverhawks. The Kernels took a 5-1 lead into the top of the ninth inning before the Silverhawks exploded for 5 runs and surpassed the Kernels and won for the second time in this series. 6-5 was the score yesterday. The Kernels won the opener 7-4 and will try to break even with South Bend with a win today on this Memorial Day. As promised, a second interlude with Tony Pantini. Tony is a long-time educator in the Marion District. His wife Shirley was a very renowned educator in the Linn-Mar District, and Tony and Shirley team up to run our guest services booth here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Tony has a wealth of information about baseball from a bygone era, and he'll share it with us next on the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show here in the Zone.
A triple play, a rarity on the diamond, but produced successfully every day at South Slope Communications in North Liberty. The South Slope Communications Triple Play consists of voice, video, and data communications for your home or business. Achieve your communications triple play with South Slope Communications. South Slope is committed to providing the latest communications technology to their members while continuing to give service second to none. South Slope can provide your home or business with just about everything that connects you to information. Digital wireless phones, long-distance plans, data home and business wiring, video conferencing, dial-up and high-speed internet service, fiber optic installation and termination, and coming soon to all local servicing areas, digital video TV service. South Slope also rents out a beautiful community center event room in their magnificent new building in North Liberty. When you need anything in the communications field, select South Slope Communications. Visit them at southslope.com.
On this most sacred of American patriotic holidays, Memorial Day, we talk it over for the second straight day with Tony Pantini on the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show. Tony told us about his upbringing in New Jersey and his love of Bob Feller, visiting Van Meter, Iowa this past couple of days to see Bob Feller's museum and meeting Ron Say and Steve Garvey. Tony also told us a couple of fascinating stories about Babe Ruth when he was growing up. And Tony, I wanted you to tell our listeners a little bit about your memorabilia collection, and we don't want anybody casing your house and trying to set up to come in and rob you, but you have some very nice artifacts in your basement at home in Marion, and I would like you to highlight a few of them.
Well, I think probably the highlight for me is the autograph baseballs of the, I believe it would be like the 1948 Indians Feller,
Lemon, Garcia,
and the fourth one.
Early Win,
exactly. The only one I don't have is Garcia because he died early, and I don't have one of him. But
Tony, you also have a uniform in your basement.
Yes, the uniform. Ironically, John, I know you're a Cardinal fan. My dad played for a semi-pro team called the Cardinals, and I have that uniform, and it's very, very heavy wool of the old time, and I don't know how they play ball in those in hot weather. And I guess because he was on that team, he ended up with the nickname of Ducky after Joe Ducky Medwick.
MVP Triple Crown winner with the Gas House Gang St. Louis Cardinals. Now, your dad was nicknamed Ducky not only after Ducky Medwick, which must have meant he was quite a baseball player, but he also played on the gridiron.
Yeah, he was. His Ducky also came from a guy, and I do not know the origin of this person, but the name was Ducky Pons, and he was a football player, and my dad was a defensive end. He was an all-state defensive end at 98 pounds. And he never wore a helmet. He said he couldn't hear, and back in those days you weren't required. And I always told him that's what was wrong with him.
He played in the days of leather helmets and when football was really quite a brutal sport. Tony Pantini's visiting with us on Memorial Day. He was our guest yesterday on the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show. And Tony, a lot of people have never seen Yankee Stadium except on television and in pictures. It's probably the most legendary hallowed baseball stadium in the United States, and that includes Wrigley Field and Fenway Park. They say it was built by the home run hitting prowess of Babe Ruth, the house that Ruth built. Would you tell our listeners what Yankee Stadium is like and what the neighborhood in the Bronx surrounding Yankee Stadium is like?
Well, and when I was growing up in the 50s and going to Yankee Stadium, we just get in the car and drive over from New Jersey and park the car in the parking lot and walk in and get tickets and just make up our mind that we were going that morning. I mean, of course, you can't do that anymore. And some of the areas that we drove through were pretty rough-looking areas. And you know, I remember going through what I think they called the Bowery. And
a lot of homeless guys down on their lock.
A lot of people down on the street. Exactly. A lot of people down on the street.
I understand the Bronx is surrounded by a lot of Puerto Ricans.
I really don't know, John. To be honest with you, going to Yankee Stadium was about the extent of my going to New York. In fact, my wife Shirley, when we've been out there, has tried to get me to go to New York, and it's like pulling teeth. I just don't like going in there. So I haven't been there, to Yankee Stadium in years. But it's quite a nice. It's just, you're right. It's a house that Ruth built, and that's what it'll always be.
You went in the 50s. Great players that I can remember: Hank Bauer, Yogi Berra, Gil McDougald. What was it like being a Yankee fan in the 50s? Because they were the most despised team. There was a Broadway play, a musical made, Tony, called Damn Yankees, because they won all the time.
I was the prime despiser. I was a Cleveland fan. So, in my house, and my mom and I were Cleveland fans. My dad and my brother were Yankee fans, and when we'd go, we'd always go when Cleveland was in town. And it so happened that every time we went, Cleveland would beat the Yankees. And the last time we went, it got to the top of the ninth inning, and the Yankees were ahead 7-4, and my father looked at my mother and said, "You're a bad omen, but you aren't going to get the job done this time." And Dad, and Cleveland scored four runs in the ninth and beat them 8-7, and we never, ever went back. My dad was that kind of person. He just said, "That's it."
Remarkable stories from Tony Pantini. He and his wife Shirley coordinate our guest services booth right when you walk in Veterans Memorial Stadium. We'll wrap things up with Tony. This is Colonel Baseball in the Zone.
Mom! Dad! I got in! Oh, that's wonderful, honey.
Oh, my little girl's going to my alma mater.
No, Dad. Harvard!
Harvard.
Dad?
Got unexpected tuition payments? Call your guarantee banker.
Dad, Bill just hit a home run right through the neighbor's window.
The Murphy's window?
No, the Wilsons.
Oh, the big window.
Need a loan? Talk to your guarantee banker for a loan that's right for your kind of life.
Dad, there was this red light thingy in your car that said to check the engine. So I did, and it was still there. But, then it started making these gross noises and stuff. And then some really cute guy stopped to help me, said that the engine was, frozen. Yeah, that's possible in the summer.
Need a car loan? Talk to your guarantee banker for a loan that's right for your kind of life.
Guarantee Bank.
For your kind of life.
Member FDIC.
Tony Pantini, finally, I wanted you to tell our listeners
about your college days, because you went to college in the Deep South. I've never been to the state of Mississippi. I have once for a cross-country meet, Jackson, Mississippi, on the banks of the Mississippi, but I went in better times when black Americans were treated as equals. That was not the case when you went to school in the Deep South. Tell us where you went to school, why you went to school in Mississippi, and how blacks were treated.
I went to Delta State University, which at that time was Mississippi Delta State Teachers College. It then became Delta State College while I was there, and now it's Delta State University. When I was a sophomore, our team won the right to go to the national tournament in Kansas City. That was NAIA.
What sport?
In basketball. And we were packed and ready to go. And we got a call at the dormitory, and Coach said, meet in the locker room. We got to the locker room, and Coach came in one door, was crying, and said, we're not going, and went out the other door. Well, it so happened that it was in the time of the big civil rights situation, and we never got to go.
Why?
Because we were going to play against Southern Illinois in the first round, and they had black players. And the governor called and said, you will not go.
The governor of the state of Mississippi prohibited Mississippi Delta Teachers College from competing in the NAIA National Basketball Tournament in Kansas City. Repeat that.
Yeah, well, so, we couldn't go to Kansas City to play in the tournament.
Because SIU had black players.
Because SIU had black players. And that got broken, I think, by Mississippi State in the 60s. Sometime they somehow figured out how to get around it. And but I think for my coach, we were at a small school. He needed his job, and if he had just defied that ruling, he'd have probably lost his job.
Remarkable story, Tony Pantini.
Reunion. We just had a reunion of that team last January. It was great to get those guys back together. And one of my teammates, who was a writer and a professor at Southeast Louisiana, wrote a beautiful article about that whole situation that I have at home. It's great.
Tony Pantini, remarkable stories from a terrific man. I know a lot of you in eastern Iowa recognize his name. He and his wife have been lifelong educators in the Marion and Linn-Mar districts. Tony Pantini, thank you so much. Enjoy Memorial Day.
Thank you, John.
Tony Pantini, our guest on the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show. Up next, Hall of Fame sportscaster Bob Brooks and I set the series finale starting lineups, Kernels and Silverhawks. This has been the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show in the zone.
A triple play, a rarity on the diamond, but produced successfully every day at South Slope Communications in North Liberty. The South Slope Communications Triple Play consists of voice, video, and data communications for your home or business. Achieve your communications triple play with South Slope Communications. South Slope is committed to providing the latest communications technology to their members while continuing to give service second to none. South Slope can provide your home or business with just about everything that connects you to information. Digital wireless phones, long-distance plans, data home and business wiring, video conferencing, dial-up and high-speed internet service, fiber optic installation and termination, and coming soon to all local servicing areas, digital video TV service. South Slope also rents out a beautiful community center event room in their magnificent new building in North Liberty. When you need anything in the communications field, select South Slope Communications. Visit them at southslope.com.
What a wonderful Memorial Day we have here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Bird Zirk will be entertaining, and the Kernels are out to cast aside the disappointment of yesterday's come-from-behind South Bend win. The Kernels carried a 5-1 lead into the top of the ninth inning. Jesse Smith had hurled 8 strong innings, but the Kernels had a misplay in right field. The South Bend Silverhawks sent 10 men to the plate, and they overtook the Kernels to win the third game of the series, 6-5 yesterday. And South Bend now leads the series 2-1. The Kernels will try to avenge yesterday's defeat and beat one of the best pitchers in the Midwest League, Austin Shappy, for the Silverhawks. He's 7-1. Bob Brooks will be joining us a little bit later. So will Colonel Broadcast Assistant Julia Jansen. Let's set the starting lineups for the series finale here on a beautiful 74-degree afternoon, Memorial Day. First for the high-flying South Bend Silverhawks. They lead the Eastern Division standings in the first half of the Midwest League by 2 games over Fort Wayne. Their record is 30-20. Their skipper is Mark Haley, who spent 13 years managing in the Chicago White Sox organization. Switch hitting second baseman Emilio Bonifácio will lead off at second base for the Silverhawks. Batting second, the catcher, switch hitter Wilkin Castillo. Augustine Murillo is the third baseman. He'll bat third. Murillo leads the league in hits, home runs, and RBIs and runs scored. Augustine Murillo at third, bats third for South Bend. Carlos González will be in right field and bat cleanup for the Silverhawks. Hitting fifth at first base is Javier Brito. Alan Mottram will bat sixth. Mottram is the designated hitter. He's tied for fourth in the league with 14 doubles. The shortstop is Mark Reynolds. He'll hit seventh for the Silverhawks. Jerome Millens belted a 2-run homer in the ninth inning that vaulted the Silverhawks ahead 6-5, the score by which they won. Millens in left field bats eighth. And batting ninth, Josh Buhaja. Josh Buhaja is in center field, and he will bat ninth for the Silverhawks. On the hill, one of the league's best, A.J. Shappy, S-H-A-P-P-I. A.J. Shappy, 7-1, 2 complete games in 10 starts, and a 2.51 ERA. Shappy went the distance his last time out, beating the Burlington Bees at Kovaleski Stadium. That was Wednesday evening. Allen Motor Company is now proud to present the Allen Motor Company Kernels starting lineup. The Kernels are about to dash onto the field to join their cost-cutter Dream Team companions. The color guard from American Legion Marion Post 298 is already on the field. The Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup, Alexi Casilla at second base leads it off. Batting second, Sean Rodriguez, the shortstop. Freddy Sandoval will play third base and hit third. The Kernel cleanup batter, red-hot Aaron Peel in left field. Chris Walson's at first base batting fifth. Hitting sixth in right field, Warner Madrigal. Tommy Duenas will catch. Duenas hitting seventh. Batting eighth is Jordan Renz, the designated hitter, and switch-hitting center fielder Richard Giannotti will bat ninth. On the hill for the Kernels is Carl Jelena. Carl is 2-2 with a 3.93 ERA, making his seventh start. Here's a moment of silence on Memorial Day to honor all of those who have served, sacrificed, and those who are fighting the war on terror right now in Afghanistan and in Iraq. Let's join the crowd here on Memorial Day at Veterans Memorial Stadium in honoring all the service women and men across the globe who have served and are serving with a moment of silence. Thank you in the listening audience for helping observe this moment of silence at Veterans Memorial Stadium. We've set the Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup for you. Now let's listen to Sue Sample. Sue is dressed in patriotic red, white, and blue. Sue Sample will now sing the Star-Spangled Banner. This is not the national anthem. This is Sue Sample with God Bless America. Sue Sample with God Bless America, and now on Memorial Day, Sue will follow that up by singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the morning air, so comforting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say not that star-spangled banner yet waves o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
What a stirring and uplifting rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner by Sue Sample. Sue Sample with the Star-Spangled Banner. The Kernels starting lineup was brought to you by Allen Motor Company. They're celebrating their 102nd year in business in our community with their annual birthday bash. And what a gift Allen's has for you. If you buy or lease now during Allen's 102nd year birthday bash sale, your first year's maintenance is on Allen's. That's right. Your first year's maintenance is on Allen Motor Company if you buy or lease now during their 102nd year birthday bash. The color guard is now crossing the third base line and headed towards the South Bend Silverhawk dugout. Now they march parallel to the third base line. John Campbell from TV9 is down below to record this very fitting tribute to the men and women who have served us, well, ever since the Revolutionary War. Memorial Day, and baseball is just ahead in the zone.
A triple play, a rarity on the diamond, but produced successfully every day at South Slope Communications in North Liberty. The South Slope Communications triple play consists of voice, video, and data communications for your home or business. Achieve your communications triple play with South Slope Communications. South Slope is committed to providing the latest communications technology to their members while continuing to give service second to none. South Slope can provide your home or business with just about everything that connects you to information. Digital wireless phones, long-distance plans, data home and business wiring, video conferencing, dial-up and high-speed internet service, fiber optic installation and termination, and coming soon to all local servicing areas, digital video TV service. South Slope also rents out a beautiful community center event room in their magnificent new building in North Liberty. When you need anything in the communications field, select South Slope Communications. Visit them at southslope.com.
We'd like to remind you.
A little bit of a different look for the Kernels on this Memorial Day. For the second time this season, they're wearing their all navy blue road caps. So they're not really just for the road. The Kernels wearing those navy blue caps at home for the second time, and coupled with their red knit batting practice tops with big white numbers on the back, the Kernels hope to put the sad memory of yesterday's come-from-behind South Bend win. The Silverhawks scored 5 runs in the top of the 9th inning and edged the Kernels 6-5. South Bend is on a roll. They've won 30 and lost 20. The Kernels are on the flip side of that record. The Kernels have won 20 and lost 30. The Kernels are a game and a half back of 7th place Kane County in the Midwest League's first half standings in the West. And South Bend leads the Eastern Division. They're 2 games ahead of the Fort Wayne Wizards. Let's set the Kernels defensively for you on this lovely Memorial Day afternoon. In the outfield, he's red hot with the bat, Aaron Peel. Peel is in left. Richard Giannotti's in center this afternoon, and Warner Madrigal in right. On the infield for the Kernels, Freddy Sandoval at third. Sean Rodriguez at short, Alexi Casilla at second, and big Chris Walston at first. A battery of Carl Jelena and Tommy Duenas. Anderson and Brown Eye Care, the official eye care provider of the Kernels, proud to present our umpires. David Warren is behind the plate, and Mark Evans will be on the diamond. Anderson and Brown Eye Care will be moving to their new location just west of I-380 on Boyson Road tomorrow. Tomorrow, Anderson and Brown Eye Care will be in their new location on Boyson Road just west of I-380. Well, as a youngster, Memorial Day meant a lot of things. A parade in my hometown of Alton, Illinois, and purportedly, Alton, Illinois had the first Memorial Day parade ever. It's still an institution in Alton, Illinois, and Memorial Day also means baseball. And the game's first pitch here today is grounded to second. Chris Walston was playing in on the grass, so he has to scuttle over to first to cover the bag. Alexi Casilla throws out Emilio Bonifácio, and that's a great way to start this game, especially after the sour taste and the disheartening feeling in the Colonel hearts after squandering that 5-1 lead yesterday in the ninth inning. Wilkin Castillo, a switch-hitting catcher, follows Emilio Bonifácio to the plate. 1 pitch and 1 out. Carl Jelena is on the hill, a 2-2 record with a 3.93 ERA. Castillo, a .287 hitting catcher, and he takes a strike from Carl Jelena. Jelena last pitched Wednesday in Beloit, and he was a 5-1 loser, but a high pop foul off to the left puts Wilkin Castillo in the hole. Wilkin singled and scored in South Bend's 5-run ninth last night. Yesterday, he went 1 for 3. He's in the hole, no balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 from Jelena, swinging a foul straight back. Legendary sportscaster Bob Brooks is alongside. And Bob, another thing I remember about Memorial Day as a youngster is every game in the big leagues was a doubleheader.
Yeah. Yes, it was. For 2 games on a day like this.
A bouncer hard hit to short. Sean Rodriguez stabs it and then strong arms his throw straight over the top to get Wilkin Castillo. Wilkin hit that ball sharply. Batting left-handed, the switch hitter rammed it on 1 hop, and Sean Rodriguez picked it and threw out the batter. 2 gone. Bob, last time Carl Jelena pitched at home, he beat the West Michigan Whitecaps, and he mixed his pitches up very well in terms of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and that's Carl's strength.
I can't believe I kept it for 8 innings yesterday, and then you went to work. How you feeling today, kiddo?
Well, thankfully, Bob, I'm not quite as... Here's a deep drive to left. It may go. It's at the wall, and Aaron Peel looks up. It's halfway up the 8-foot-high wall, and it's a booming double for Augustine Murillo. Nothing new for Murillo. That's his 14th double of the year, and he's at second with 2 out. The Silverhawks have struck first in the last 2 games with runs in the first inning. Bob, I guess to put it in perspective, I'm twice or 2.5 times the age of our kids, our players, and I'm not quite as resilient as them. It's still tough to get the bitter taste of defeat out of my mind and heart. However, when you have a day like you just mentioned, a day worthy of 2 baseball games, you can't help but come back to the ballpark revved up.
No, you can't. You've got to be ready to play. It's a new day, a new game, new at-bats, and go get them.
Here's a high pop foul onto the grandstand roof behind home plate by Carlos González. Carlos is the cleanup batter for the Silverhawks. He doubled in a run and scored in South Bend's 5-run ninth yesterday. He was 2 for 4. It was his double that was lost in the sun by Jordan Renz. Madrigal's in right field this afternoon. Jordan Renz is the designated hitter. Carlos González bashes one to deep center. I don't know if Giannotti will get this one. He does! Richard Giannotti turned his back to home plate, and Bob, the key was he went back to where he thought the ball would land.
Yes, and then he came in. Played it perfectly out in center field. That ball traveled about 380 feet. And a beautiful day for a ball game. And, John, when I came in just a few moments ago, the ticket line is jammed downstairs. So
Jack Rader was...
walk up is great.
That's what Jack was hoping for, 76-degree weather, and that's what we have, a big crowd still filing in.
Well, I was talking Saturday about 10,000 here, so we'll see if we get them.
For the series. Carl Jelena pitches around a 2-out double, retires Carlos González on a deep fly to center to end the South Bend first inning. And after 1/2 inning, Silverhawks nothing, Kernels coming to bat. This is Memorial Day baseball in the zone.
There's a reason Dick Ramsey is the #1 home seller for the #1 real estate company, Skogman Realty. It's because Dick Ramsey works harder for you than anyone to make selling your home easy for you. Take Dick's one-of-a-kind home trade program. Buy one of Dick Ramsey's homes and Dick will buy yours. Dick Ramsey provides 2 other unparalleled services: a free 1-hour telephone loan approval and a free 1-hour telephone appraisal on your property. Dick Ramsey of Skogman Realty, the #1 home seller for the #1 real estate company.
Knowing who you are is important. At Kirkwood Community College, we know who we are. We are accessibility. We are quality. We are opportunity. We are community. Who are you? We can help you learn. Kirkwood.edu.
Well, I'll tell you, there was nothing like seeing Touchdown Jesus looking down on the stadium, right?
You know, walking through the tunnel in the Coliseum is something you never forget playing for USC, especially against a team like
the roar of the crowd when you enter the horseshoe for the first time is something I'll never forget.
Mike Golick,
Sean Salisbury,
Kirk Herbstreit,
defensive end,
quarterback,
Notre Dame, class of 85,
Southern Cal, 1986,
Ohio State, 1992.
Now, they're all on our team. The College Football Experience on ESPN Radio.
This crowd continues to grow on Memorial Day. At 10 o'clock this morning, Bill Quinby was part of the big crowd that was honoring the service men and women who have given not only service, but in many, many cases their lives at the Veterans Memorial just south of here as an extension of this beautiful stadium. Strike one is in to Alexi Casilla. Alexi had a big day yesterday in the Colonel loss. He batted ninth. He was 3 for 4. And he scored 3 of the Colonel 5 runs. Won't be easy today, Bob. Austin Shappy, S-H-A-P-P-I, is one of the best hurlers in this league.
Well, we'll see if Casilla, who has good speed, can get on some way, batting .245.
An 0-2 is tapped on 2 hops to short. Near the bag, Mark Reynolds has it and throws the speedy Colonel leadoff man out. Alexi Casilla has bounced out to short, 1 away here in the Colonel first inning. And Sean Rodriguez, who's second in the league in runs scored with 37 and 5th in the league with 13 steals, will now bat. Sean hitting .259. He's had 5 hits and 14 at-bats in this series. He singled home a run and scored in the Colonel 2-run second yesterday. Sean batting second in the Allen Motor Company order, and he bunts. Foul. It rolls up the third baseline. Backhanded by Augustine Murillo for strike one to Rodriguez.
Man, what a day. High, fluffy clouds, no wind.
And a big, big crowd. A term in baseball is walk-up. And walk-up means folks that don't have a season ticket plan or aren't part of a group or 25 or more. In other words, it's an impulse, spontaneous decision. And, Bob, you said
the weather brings them out.
That's right. Great weather will make Memorial Day fun for everybody, whether you're golfing, biking, picnicking, or here with us at the stadium. A 1-0 or a 1-1 pitch to Rodriguez is low and away from Austin Shappy. This fella is 7-1. He leads the league with 2 complete games, 63 hits yielded in 68 innings. He's not a strikeout pitcher. The right-hander has fanned 38 men in 68 innings. A hard hit smash to third. Augustine Murillo goes down at his shoe tops to take a base hit away from Rodriguez. On to first with the throw. Sean bashed it hard to the left of the third baseman, but Murillo went down and picked it clean like a good third baseman should, and there are 2 out here in the Colonel first inning.
Murillo has had difficulty with his fielding in this series, but not on that one.
No, that was a hard hit ball, and he went down to his shoe tops to spear it. 2 away for Freddy Sandoval. Freddy had 3 hits in the Colonel Saturday night loss, 7-5. Didn't play yesterday, and strike one is into the switch hitter, batting .268. A homer and 27 driven in for Freddy. He leads the club in home runs and in doubles. Or in a high, deep drive to right, but it's hooking foul. And that one's heading towards the parking lot of the Stadium Lounge across Rockford Road, or across, Rockford Road. Freddy got a ton into that one, but pulled it foul for strike 2.
Well, the Kernels have made contact on Sheppy, who is 7-1 on the year, so
that's a good sign. Here's a softly hit grounder to second. Freddy Sandoval pulled an outside pitch, and Emilio Bonifácio has it and throws Freddy out. 3 ground ball outs off the bat of the Kernels against 7-game winner Austin Sheppy. Down in order go the Kernels in the bottom of the first inning. And on this lovely Memorial Day afternoon, it's the Kernels nothing, South Bend nothing as we head to the second inning. You're enjoying Kernel baseball here in the Zone.
Who's that cool cooking man? King of the grill, who's your patio? Charbroiled sausage flipping man with the buns. Who's your patio?
He only cooks Clements, 'cause it's number one for taste and fun.
Econo Foods is the place to save on Clements Fine products this week. Shop Econo Foods for hot pricing on Clements.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Let me tell you what was. Army, Navy, not relevant. What is today? Conference championship game. What was? Men's tennis. What is? Women's tennis. What was? Your son was a good little leaguer. What is? Your daughter is now more athletic than your son at 6 years old and on. What was quirky? Wide world of sports. What is quirky? The X Games. What was? Network game of the week. What is? DirecTV Sunday ticket. What was heavyweight boxing. What is? Smaller guys. He used to keep score at games. That was what was. Guess what? What is? Outfield restaurants and interactive ballpark games. I'm not saying you can't love what was, but understand what is, because often what is now is the same as what was guy thought was innovative and cool 30 years ago. But now, suddenly, he's above it and thinks it's stupid and irrelevant.
Don't be left out of The Herd. Only on ESPN Radio.
The first baseman batting fifth in skipper Mark Haley's order for South Bend is big Javier Brito. Second inning, no score on this perfect afternoon, Memorial Day for baseball. Javier Brito's from Venezuela, and he steps into the first pitch from Jelena and fouls it away to the right. Brito hitting .333, 3 homers, 27 RBIs. He was 0-for-3 in the Silverhawk dramatic come-from-behind win yesterday. Holds his hands high above his black batting helmet and takes strike 2 called on the outside corner. A fastball from Carl Jelena, the Kernel right-hander. Outfield plays Brito to pull the ball. The right-handed batter slugs one hard into right, and over to get it near the line is Warner Madrigal. And Javier Brito, boy, Bob, you never like to see a guy hit a ball that hard on an 0-2 count, but Brito stayed back on it and drilled it into right.
Plus that, he hit it where it was pitched. It was a little bit high, and bam, there he was. Bingo.
Well, let's see if we can get Alan Mottram. We want to apologize to all the great folks in South Bend who listen in on the internet. They don't have their games on the radio, their road games, and we were told last year when this fellow was in the league that his name was pronounced Mottram, but it is Alan Mottram. He's from UMass Lowell, and he takes a strike. That internet will set you straight quick, Bob.
Well, that's good.
That's right. We do our best to get the pronunciations as they were told to us, and Michael, the fellow from South Bend last year, went over all these names with us of the holdovers for this year, and I remember him distinctly saying it's Alan Mottram, but it is not. It's Alan Mottram. Right-handed batter, and he drills one into left center. Richard Giannotti on the run, dives and cannot get it. A run should score. Javier Brito is heading towards third. They're going to wave him in. The relay throw home from left center is not in time, and it's a run-scoring double for Alan Mottram. Oh, Giannotti, Bob, came oh so close to making a spectacular diving catch to his right, but it got by him for an RBI double.
Well, you were either going to gamble and lose or gamble and win. And he lost on that one. The ball went to the wall. And Kernan Ronan comes out to talk to Jelena. Brito scored, and he had to put on, even to get home, he had to put on the Jets a little bit, rounding third.
Yes, he did, because Javier had to make sure that Giannotti didn't come up with that catch. Richards kind of putting himself back together in center field. Giannotti had to go hard to his right. He left his feet and dove, got a glove on it. It trickled past him, rolled all the way to the 407 sign in deep left center, and Javier Brito did rumble all the way home. Alan Mottram has an RBI double and 3 hits already for the Silverhawks. They lead the league in hitting. They're hitting .281. Contrast that to our team batting average of .240, and you can do the math, a 41-point difference in team batting. Squaring to bunt is Mark Reynolds, the shortstop, and he takes a change-up low for ball 1.
And Mottram now has 15 doubles on the year. That is 4th in the league. So he's done it before.
Yes, he has. This Silverhawk club has really been impressive in this series. You say that. Here's a bunt, and Carl Jelena moves quickly off the mound to his left and fields it, throws out Mark Reynolds. Smart baseball by the Silverhawks. Mark Reynolds credited with a sacrifice bunt that gets a runner to third with only 1 out. Alan Mottram at third. The Kernels really should have won Saturday night's game, and then, of course, yesterday it goes without saying, led 5-1 going to the top of the 9th inning, and South Bend rallied for 5 big ones to win it 6-5.
But that's been the story of the whole season, hasn't it?
Our inability.
Today.
Yep, our inability to finish things. A curveball, a dandy, is a strike in to Jerome Millen. He's the fella with a runner at third and 2 out in the 9th inning yesterday. Belted a 2-run homer, lined it over the left field wall off T.J. Stanton to put South Bend ahead 6-5.
271 batter, and he has 27 runs driven in, is trying for 28 right now. And from the way South Bend is playing this, they have obviously a lot of faith in their pitcher. They're playing for 1 run now.
Ball 2 just misses inside to the right-handed batter, Jeremy Millens, and Jelena wanted that call. The Kernels must have confidence they can get it done against 7-game winner Austin Shappy for South Bend. The Kernel infield is back. They'll trade a run for an out. Ball 3 almost hit the batter. Jackknifing out of the way was the right-handed hitter, Jerome Millens. He's from Jefferson Davis Community College down in Bruton, Alabama. Wears his gray trousers low all the way down to the tops of his shoes. Slightly closed stance for the right-handed hitter. And he nubs one to third. Freddy Sandoval charges, looks the runner back to third. Out at first, and the runner scores. Freddy looked at him, Bob, and he was about 10 feet down the third base line, and as Sandoval threw out the batter, Jerome Millens, for the 2nd out of the inning. Daring base running by Alan Mottram, and he made it home easily ahead of the throw by the first baseman, Chris Walston. Did Freddy Sandoval do the right thing?
That's the question. I don't know. He could have had the guy at the plate.
See, the guy
certainly had him in the rundown.
Yeah, Mottram was
at the worst.
And Mottram broke home as soon as he saw Freddy throw home, and he beat the first baseman's throw home by plenty, Chris Walston. So perhaps Freddy Sandoval didn't really look the runner back to third, at least not enough to put the fear of in him. A high fly ball into straightaway left field, and Aaron Peel backs up a couple of steps, and Josh Puhatka has flown out to left to end the Silverhawks' 2nd inning.
On that play again, I think it was going on contact. Consequently, the fellow was committed.
Well, he never stopped.
Sandoval could have cut down a run there.
Freddy instead threw to first to get the batter, and dashing home from third with Freddy Sandoval standing next to him, Alan Mottram. 1 run for the Silverhawks on 2 hits.
And it's Bird-Zerk time.
Oh, we'll have a blast describing the crazy, unpredictable antics of Bird-Zerk. No Colonel errors in that 2nd inning. South Bend leaves the bases empty. The Silverhawks, I want to correct myself, scored 2 runs on 2 hits, and they left nobody on. And after an inning and a half, it's South Bend leading the Kernels 2-0. This is Colonel Baseball in the zone.
Hey, Dad, did you catch the game last night? Wow!
Oh, no, the wind was messing up my dish.
Oh, man, too bad. Maybe next time.
Ed, did you see that documentary on fire ants? Oh, fantastic stuff.
Oh, no, I had a little problem with the old dish.
Too bad. You really missed something special.
Say, Ted, remember that episode of Nip Tuck last week, the one with the doctor?
No, afraid not. I think it was raining that night or something.
Hi, Teddy.
Hi.
Hey, I saw this romantic movie the other night. It made me think of you.
Well, I meant to, but I think there was some bad weather going on.
You know, Ted, I could really see getting together once in a while, but I don't know if I want a dish relationship.
Oh, man. Want a weatherproof way to watch television? Get rid of that dish and call Mediacom to learn about our 12-month, $29.95 offers. Call today at 1-800-800-CABLE. That's 1-800-800-CABLE.
Your Coca-Cola Bottling Company is proud to sponsor the Zone's second annual Bar and Grill Tour. We know you're out there, eating and drinking your way from bar and grill to bar and grill. It's grueling work, trying to decide the best of the best, but it's worth it. So go ahead. Decide on your favorite bar and grill. You already know your favorite drink, Coca-Cola. Proud sponsor of the Zone's second annual Bar and Grill Tour.
Bob Brooks, you teased our audience by letting them know that Bird Zirk was here today. And, Bob, I think Augustine Murillo better see the South Bend equipment manager immediately because he has lost a precious item.
Well, don't worry, he'll get it back. And already the man has retrieved a glove for him there at third. I don't think that Augie was really into that, do you?
Well, I couldn't tell.
He didn't know what was going on.
Birds.
Here I am. I can. Here's what he looked like to me. He looked like a guy hitting 346 who was going to take a whack at Bird Zirk.
Well, Augie was a good sport and did a little bit of a dance routine.
Very little.
A little bit of a dance, and Bird Zirk made off with his glove and tossed it over the left field fence. Aaron Peel drives one towards the left field fence, but it'll be caught by Jerome Millins in front of the warning track.
He almost got that.
First pitch swinging, Aaron Peel did almost get a hold of one and just got it a little bit off the end of the bat and looped it into left field on a soft line. It was caught by Millins. One pitch, one out. Austin Shappy, S-H-A-P-P-I, is a 7-game winner, making his 11th start. He's not impressive physically, 6'2", 200. He's 22 years old, but he obviously knows how to pitch without being a power pitcher, and he drops in a changeup, a strike to Chris Walston. 2-0 Silverhawks. We're in the home half of the second inning.
Well, the big stat on him is only 12 walks in 68 innings.
You're not going to get beat too often if you keep runners off base with that degree of control.
Not in this league.
No. Shappy is 7-1. He misses outside to Chris Walston. It's 1-1 to Chris. Walston bangs one hard off one of the windows of a first base suite, and he's in the hole, 1-2. Chris is hitting 163 in 15 games. 2 homers, 5 RBIs for Chris Walston. One out. Nobody on for the Kernels, who are looking for their first base runner of the day. And the right-hander misses with a changeup outside. It's 2-2 to 6'6", 163 batting, Chris Walston. Chris 0 for 4 last night. Yesterday he drove in a run. A sidearm delivery, and it's downstairs for ball 3.
We're still awaiting the arrival of the swing by Walston.
The swing meaning using that 6-foot
stroke.
Yes. Chris is 6'6", 245 pounds, and he's played in 15 games. Here's the payoff pitch. Lined foul up onto the Miller Mezzanine Terrace, and a good number of you, the public, not a group up there today. We opened it up to you, the fans, and for $23.50, those folks are soaking in the sun and getting all the food and drink they can handle for just $23.50. Walston bashes one into right, but it sails out to Carlos Gonzalez. Good-looking stroke by Chris Walston. He took the pitch the other way, but lined it right at Gonzalez and right for the second out of the Kernels' second inning.
And again, the Kernels got pretty good wood on the ball. But so far, it's been just fly balls and ground balls from Austin Shappy. 3.96 ERA.
From Cal Riverside. Diamondback 9th-round pick last year. He was 4-1 with Yakima. Swing and a miss as Warner Madrigal was way out in front of a changeup. Warner hitting .221, leads the team with 7 home runs, has 18 driven in. He hasn't played since the Kernel series opening win here 7-4 on Friday night.
That was a slider.
There's another one for strike 2. Madrigal wears a protective black plastic shield on his inner front ankle. Warner's in an 0-2 hole. Another breaking pitch, this one low and away. Wilkin Castillo is behind the plate today for the visitors. Augustine Murillo at third, Mark Reynolds the shortstop, Bonifacio at second, and Javier Brito at first. 2 away in the Kernel second inning with nobody on. A chopper foul, the Kernel skipper Bobby Magallanes, who will toss that up to the kids in the grass seating berm down the left field line. Mr. Shucks is getting the crowd revved up behind the Kernel dugout. And what a nice crowd we have. It's still growing. Madrigal drives one down the line and right. González won't get it. Carlos cuts it off near the right field line and holds Warner Madrigal to a long 2-out single. Well, the Kernels have the right idea so far. They haven't struck out, and they're taking the pitches the other way. Trailing 2-0, Tommy Duenas will bat as the tying run at the plate here in the second inning.
And again, Warner Madrigal hit that ball, a pitch that was a little outside, up around the letters, and he jumped it into right field. Good piece of hitting.
Warner is not a speedster. He has 1 steal and 2 tries. He's not going as Tommy Duenas whistles one foul into the backstop.
What do you mean he's not going?
I know. Bob says that in jest because the Kernels run. The Kernels are second in the league in stolen bases, 64 steals. We've been caught 34 times. Ideally, you like a 3-to-1 steal to caught stealing ratio. The Kernels not quite 2-to-1. Swing and a miss by Tommy Duenas on a curveball, and he's in the hole 0-2. Tommy's batting .205 on the year, a homer, 9 RBIs. Duenas has had a good series. He's 4 for 8. Didn't play in yesterday's Kernel crushing loss. Duenas, a right-handed batter, straightaway stance. The right-hander Shappy comes set with the 0-2, and it's popped foul straight back here. And down below it goes.
That could have gone for Jeff Johnson over there.
Jeff is sitting in press row. We don't know if he watches the game as the Gazette beat writer for the Kernels with his window open or not, but it went right in his vicinity, in his neighborhood. Still 0-2 to Tommy Duenas. Second inning, 2-0 Silverhawks. The catcher sets up outside, and that's where the pitch is, and it's fouled up above the grandstand roof by Tommy Duenas, who battles still in the hole 0-2. This is the series finale with the Silverhawks, but we'll turn right around after hosting the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers here the next 4 dates and go to Gold Dome Country. We'll be going to South Bend next week. Swinging a foul straight back. Bob, the Notre Dame does everything their own way, and after graduation, they bring in various classes for class reunions right after the regular kids leave. And they treat them royally. Notre Dame has one of the highest alumni giving percentages of any university.
That's why they get treated royally.
Once an Irish, always an Irish. Another 0-2 to Tommy. Swinging a foul. He tomahawked that pitch chin high right back towards TV9's John Campbell, who didn't flinch a bit.
No, the reason he didn't, he has the camera on the tripod today. So he had plenty of ballast there.
Tommy Duenas is really battling. He's fouled away 4 two-strike pitches from 7-game winner Austin Shappy. Swing and a miss. Shappy took just enough off that breaking pitch to retire Tommy on strikes. No runs, a one-out single for the Kernels in the second. There were no South Bend errors, and the Kernels leave a runner, their first stranded of the afternoon. Kernel broadcast assistant Julia Jansen had her first play-by-play experience yesterday. Julia will have the third inning this afternoon on Memorial Day, and Bob will be with her as the broadcast team in the third inning. After 2, South Bend 2, the Kernels nothing. You're enjoying Memorial Day baseball here in the Zone.
I'm Dave Shea. For 35 years, I was a news anchor for Channel 2. You may also have seen me driving around Cedar Rapids in my Honda Accord. Well, I've retired from broadcasting, but I haven't given up my Honda. For years, I've told friends they should consider owning a Honda, specifically from Randy Keel Honda. Randy is a local dealer with 13 years of experience in matching drivers to the right vehicle. He has a fine selection of new Hondas, as well as quality pre-owned vehicles. And more than just a reliable service department, Randy Keel Honda offers Confidence, a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle sold. You can take my word for it, but you may also want to talk with other Honda owners. They're people you know, your friends, your neighbors, maybe even your relatives. And you can do more homework by logging on to Randy's website at www.randykeel.com. I'm a satisfied Honda owner, and I'm sure you will be too. See Randy Keel Honda today on Center Point Road Northeast.
What is ESPN Radio? It's not that hard. You're a sports fan? This is the sports station. It's ESPN. That means sports. The games, the experts, the analysis, the scores, the highlights, the people who know their stuff. It's good conversation. It's ESPN. It's radio. You know, the box that all the sounds come out of. At your home, in your car, where you work, even in your computer. It's everywhere you go. It's radio. It's ESPN. It's ESPN Radio. That's all it is.
Back at new Veterans Memorial Stadium, the Silverhawks lead off with the top of the order with Emilio Bonifácio, the 180-pound second baseman, leading off for the Silverhawks. Batting a big 256. And the pitch just outside for a ball.
Well, Julia, if he's going to make the major leagues, he's got to hit more than 256.
Next pitch, he fouls back up toward the Colonel Diamond Suite.
The outfield plays him just a shade to the left, especially Giannotti in center field.
And Bonifácio drives that toward center, but Giannotti is there to make the catch for the first out.
Had him played correctly, had to go to his. Giannotti had to go to his left a bit, but had plenty of time. Plays a good defensive center field. His problem so far, that is Giannotti's problem, has been at the plate. Otherwise, his speed and throwing and defensive play out of the University of Miami has been very good.
Wilkin Castillo pops one high up to the third base side. Freddy Sandoval makes an effort for it, but it bounces just off, I think it was the top of the dugout, into the grass area. Wilkin Castillo now has an 0-1 count with one out here in the top of the third. Wilkin is 20 years old. He's from the Bani, Dominican Republic. He drives one down the right field line. Madrigal's watching it, letting it fall, and makes the catch. Or the second out in the top of the third.
Number 31.
So Jelena is starting to get the Silverhawks to hit high fly balls, and Madrigal had an easy shot at that one out in right field.
Jesse Smith did a good job of that yesterday, too, trying to get the Silverhawks to either ground out or fly out. And the pitch low and away. Oh, no. Just caught the corner, I guess, for strike one. 0-1 count.
Gave him a little curveball.
To Augustine Murillo. He hits that to Sean Rodriguez, who bobbles the ball, and it pops out of his glove. It might be an error. We'll wait for the official scoring on that.
Well, Rodriguez had to go to his right, and he was in deep in the hole. So I would say they'll give him an error.
They did. They gave first error to Sean Rodriguez. I think that is his 10th error of the season.
Well, he tried to backhand it, and the ball bounced up high and bounced off the heel of his glove, and then there was no play at all.
Carlos Gonzalez drives one into the right field. That might be out of here. It is. That's a 2-run homer for 19-year-old Carlos Gonzalez, making the score 4-0 in favor of South Bend.
Gonzalez on that one got it all. Perfect pitch. A juicy fastball right over the heart of the plate at the letters. You just feast on those, and consequently Gonzalez came up with his 3rd home run of the year. This a 2-run shot. He just carried it out as easily as you could over the 350-foot mark. Off the bat, the first look, you didn't think it was going very far, and then started to rise, and see ya, it was out of here.
After a conversation with Jelinas at the mound, Tommy Duenas back behind the plate, and Javier Brito waits. Jelinas stepped off the mound before the pitch. Javier Brito listed at 6'2". There's a ball outside, a 1-0 count, 2 outs in the top of the 3rd. 4-0 in favor of the Silverhawks.
We've been talking about the middle part of the batting order for South Bend.
Another ball outside that gets away from Tommy and goes to the backstop.
So far, Murillo has a double and has scored a run. Gonzalez has a 2-run homer, and Brito has a single. So that part of the lineup has been pretty wounding in this 4th game of the series.
Ball 3 to Javier Brito. Out in center field, Giannotti is playing him just a little to the left. And there's a strike on the outside corner. 3-1 count to Javier Brito. Yesterday he had 2-run singles. He popped that one up high to the left field, and Aaron Teal comes up with a catch to end the inning for the Kernels. Not before the Silverhawks scored 2 more in this inning. There were 2 hits and 1 error on Sean Rodriguez and 2 runs. And the Silverhawks didn't leave anybody on base. So for now, the Silverhawks lead the Kernels 4-0. We'll be back. You're listening to Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
For the 7th consecutive year, Toyota Financial Services is encouraging elementary students throughout our community to read this summer. Toyota Financial Services believes that inspiring children to read brings families together, fosters imagination, and enhances knowledge. The Gazette shares Toyota Financial Services' belief in the value of reading. That's why they've teamed up to recognize and reward this summer's readers for their fabulous accomplishments. Toyota Financial Services and the Gazette, proud to stand with our community's children to enrich their lives.
It's Greeny and Goalie. My kids' favorite song in the world is the song YMCA. So I go to Barnes & Noble and I come across the Village People's Greatest Hits. Okay. So I walk up to pay. And so I'm standing there online. Yeah. And some guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, you're Greeny." Uh-huh. And he said, "Hey, what's up with Goalie?" Whatever, chat's making a little nice conversation to me. What are you buying?
Oh, no.
And all of a sudden I realize what I'm buying.
What you have in your hands that you now have to show this guy.
So I pulled it up. It's the best of the Village People. The look on this guy's face was classic. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, my God, everything they say about you is absolutely right." Gang, we've been trying to tell you. This ain't an act.
It's Mike and Mike in the morning on ESPN Radio.
And we're back here at New Veterans Memorial Stadium. Berserk is back on the field again. He's got the umpire do a dance with him now. They're twirling around on the field, having a good time. The fans seem to really enjoy that. Jordan Renz will be up first for the Silverhawks.
Well, the play umpire is Mark Evans tonight and this afternoon, and he is more into it than the third baseman for the Silverhawks.
Umpire just did a one-handed handstand. It's pretty impressive.
Plus, he put Berserk on his back, so the guy's a ham, as a matter of fact. But as we've been telling you all from the start of the season, these umpires are just as young and impressionable and as showman and agility and all of that stuff as the players. So it's not like they're taking on Jocko Conlon out there or somebody. He's been in the major leagues for
We stay on the
long
for
time.
it. That's right.
No, that's fun.
Now after
Shows the umpires are human.
after Shaffy finished warming up, Jordan Renz walks to the plate now. Jordan is our designated hitter today. And his first pitch is a ball outside. We have a good story I heard down on the concourse before the game started. Scott from Anamosa called in and, or I guess he emailed Len Casper and Bob Brenly, who do the TV announcing for the Chicago Cubs, and told them that they should make a trip out here to New Veterans Memorial Stadium because the field here was beautiful, and Bob Brenly played here, I guess, for the Burlington Bees. Jordan Renz fouled one back up above the stadium as a 2-1 count. And he thought, Bob Brenly talked to me, he said that this ballpark he thought was beautiful before it was new. So Kernels had a nice moment on the Cubs network again. And Renz drives one to the shortstop and makes the play to first baseman Javier Brito.
Yes, Brenly spent his time in the minor leagues and then got up to the majors and then became a manager of the club that has the working agreement with South Bend, the Arizona Diamondbacks. So what goes around comes around.
That's true. And our stadium here is gorgeous, especially it's very nice today. Richard Giannotti pops one way up in the sky. Augustine Murillo chases it over, but it bounces right off the Wendy's dugout again and into the crowd. They can take their ball up to the guest services and get a gift certificate and a verification for their balls. Get any foul balls during the game.
Four runs, 4 hits for South Bend. No runs and 1 hit for the Kernels.
Giannotti bunts, very nice bunt down third baseline. No play from the pitcher stopping. Giannotti is aboard safely at first with a bunt.
Well, that's his specialty. Man, oh man, can he bunt that baseball. But the question is, can you get some base hits to go with it? That's the idea.
Well, we'll see if...
I mean some solid doubles, triples, and so on.
Oh. Actually, Bob Brenly played here as a Cedar Rapids Giant in 1977, not as a Burlington Bee.
Well, I was going to tell you that.
Well, a fan on the court.
Well, we would just leave it as Burlington's a member of the league, but I saw Bob catch a lot of baseball at the old Veterans Memorial Stadium.
Alexi Casilla looks at a ball low and away. It's a 1-0 count. And he drives one into left field. Jeremy Millens makes a run for it and makes the catch and sends Richard Giannotti back to first base.
Well, Millens was playing the batter perfectly. That is, a left-handed hitter. He was playing him straight away.
And Sean Rodriguez comes up to bat. He is 7th in the league in batting. He's hitting .325. Oh, no. Hitting higher than that. He's hitting... Nope, I said that wrong. Aaron Peel is hitting 7th in the league with .325, but Sean Rodriguez is 2nd with 37 runs batted in. Runs scored, excuse me. Getting my statistics mixed up here today.
Well, baseball is a game of stats.
Sure is.
Well, some of them are good, some of them are medium, and some of them are incorrect. So we can take our pick up here.
Sean Rodriguez fouls another one back behind home plate for an 0-2 count. There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Silverhawks lead the Kernels 4-0. Richard Giannotti stands on first base after bunting his way on. Sean uses a black bat and looks at a ball outside. Catcher throws down to first, but Sean is back on time. Was that a strike? I guess so.
They called him out.
Oof. All right, well, strike 3 to Sean Rodriguez to end the inning. The Kernels had no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. And the Silverhawks still lead 4-0. You're listening to Kernels Baseball in the Zone.
Traveling today can be somewhat hectic, even downright confusing at times. Why not let Tri-State Travel take all that frustration out of your travel plans? Whether you want to experience a cruise, enjoy a weekend getaway in Las Vegas, or just need to make airline, rental car, or hotel reservations, Tri-State Travel's Westdale Mall office can help. Our experienced staff can lower your travel stress level so you can get more enjoyment out of your journey. Stop by Tri-State Travel's Westdale Mall office today and get ready to travel worry-free.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
As a kid growing up on the West Coast, I mean, Bill Walsh sort of defined football. He was my Vince Lombardi. Look at today's West Coast offense and the one you helped create. What's the big difference, or is there one?
Oh, there's a big difference. We most often use 2 backs for added pass protection and for pass receiving. In today's football, across the board, even in high school, people are using multiple receivers. So what we did 20% of the time, people are now doing 80% of the time.
Did you ever think it would become, quote, the West Coast offense, Bill Walsh's offense?
No, I didn't even think of that. We were just trying to survive. It's a world of survival. So you're not thinking of any label or any distinction regarding what you do. What you really thought of was somehow you've got to make a first down.
Don't be left out of the herd. Only on ESPN Radio.
Now we go to the 4th inning. Alan Mottram, the DH, batting 3-2-1. And he's in. He's the fellow that we've been talking about in this series that stands with that left foot in the bucket, and then when the pitch is thrown, he straightens it out. And the first pitch is outside for a ball. Next one is just off the corner. It makes it ball 2 and no strikes. Outfield is straight away. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fly ball. Giannotti is there. He's got it. And Mottram flies out to center. That brings up Mark Reynolds, the shortstop. He sacrificed in the 2nd inning and is a right-handed batter. And after a little conversation, Castillo goes over to talk to Jelena. And the pitch is a strike over the outside corner. Mark Reynolds, right-handed batter. Jelena throws, and this one is off the corner below the knees, and the count now is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. The motion, here's the pitch, and it's swung on and fouled. Back into the screen here. Now the windup, and here's the pitch, and this one is outside for a ball. And that makes it ball 2, strike 2. Millens will be next. Jelena out on the mound, the windup, and the pitch on its way. Inside. Backs him up a bit. And that brings the count to ball 3 and strike 2. Nobody on, 1 out. The Silverhawks of South Bend lead 4-0. Swing and a little drive into right field in front of Warren Madrigal for a base hit. In fact, Madrigal picked it up and fired to the first baseman, Walston, and they didn't get him, but had he not been hustling down the line, well, things could have been different.
Bob, that's a good use of Warren Madrigal's showcasing.
Yes,
his
it
arms.
is. Yeah.
You got a guy that assumes he can loaf to first, and Warner would have had him.
Yes, he would have. And here is Jerome Millens. He grounded out in the second inning. Millens, right-handed batter. Now the stretch, the pitch. And this one is high and inside, and out to the mound quickly is Tommy Duenas.
Bob, our listeners on this Memorial Day in the bottom of the 4th have a wonderful guest that they can look forward to you talking it over with. Roger Norfolk will be joining you from American Legion Marion Post 298. Roger's already in the booth, and we're going to welcome him in the zone in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Very appropriate. There's a ground ball to the third baseman. He's got to throw to second, out, relay to first, out, a double play. Sandoval to Casilla to Walston. That's 5-4-3, and the double play to get the Kernels out of that inning with no runs. And there were no hits, there were no errors. Or check that, one hit to Madrigal out in right field. And nobody left on. So in 4 innings of play for South Bend, they have 4 runs, 5 hits. And Cedar Rapids has no runs and 2 hits. And we'll go to the last half of the 4th after this. You're listening to Colonel Baseball in the Zone.
Okay, we're ready in here, and here comes the music.
If you've been thinking about getting cable television from Mediacom...
If you've been thinking about getting cable television from Mediacom...
Or high-speed internet...
Or high-speed internet...
Wait a minute. Why is she repeating everything I'm saying?
'Cause it's a double offer?
Yeah, you can get Mediacom's digital one-star pack featuring movies and interactive guide music channels and more for just $29.95 a month for a whole year. And get Mediacom online for just $29.95 a month for a whole year.
I know that, but is it really necessary to repeat it?
Hey, gotta get the point across.
Do you want me to say it again?
Why not?
Get Mediacom's digital one-star pack for just $29.95 a month for a whole year. And get Mediacom online for just $29.95 a month for a whole year.
Aha, she forgot something. You can add HBO for just $6 a month for 6 months. And the phone number, 1-877-377-CABLE.
That number again is 1-877-377-CABLE.
I'm out of here.
Must subscribe to both services. Offer for new residential subscribers only. All products may not be available.
Want the latest Hawkeye news? Get in the zone. Want the facts on recruiting? Want coaches' comments? Want to hear what the national media says about the Hawks? Get in the zone. All sports, all Hawkeyes. Fresh new focus on men's and women's athletics in Iowa City. It's the Zone's Hawkeye Update. Thursdays at 3:30 on the 19th hole with Scott Unash. It's presented by Welters and the University of Iowa Hawk Shop. The Hawkeye Update, only here on
The Zone, ESPN Radio.
You're in the zone.
And now the last half of the 4th inning out here. And the first batter will be Freddy Sandoval. Left-handed hitter. And the windup by Shappy in the pitch. Sandoval fouls it back over the top of the grandstand. And the count moves along to strike 1. Sandoval, Peel, and Walston will be the first 3 hitters for the Kernels. The pitch. This one drops low for a ball, and the count goes even at 1-1 strike. Sandoval is batting .268, and the pitch. Low and away, and 2 balls and a strike on the Cedar Rapids Kernel third baseman. Left-handed batter. Murillo's playing in a bit at third. And again, those little gnats are around as he flips that cap to keep them away, and the pitch is high and wide, makes it ball 3 and strike 1. Castillo gives a sign. There's ball 4 and the first walk of this Memorial Day. And with that, we welcome Roger Norfolk.
Thank you.
Roger, great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
From the Marion Post 298, and a salute to all veterans, of course, on Memorial Day, a very special occasion.
It is indeed. It's a great time for us as a nation to recognize those who gave the ultimate sacrifice who are no longer with us. Many of our veterans are satisfied and happy to be here and see their families grow, but those that didn't have the chance, that's the ones we need to honor today.
I should say, as Aaron Peel grounds into a double play that goes from 6 to 4 to 3, answering the twin killing by the Cedar Rapids Kernels in the top half of the fourth inning here. 4-0 Cedar Rapids, or in favor of South Bend over Cedar Rapids with the Kernels. Now, batting in the last half of the fourth with 2 out with Walston, who swings and misses the first pitch. Another thing, Memorial Day, yes, it's a time to remember, and we do, but a lot of those days should be put in the other 364 days, remembering these veterans, too.
Yes, sir.
I think about that every time I drive in the parking lot here around the Veterans Memorial there.
A very nice memorial.
I think that's a question here. The ball 1 and strike 2, the count to Walston. And I'll get that here after this pitch. It's on its way, and this is low and outside. Are the veterans in Cedar Rapids, in your opinion, Roger, are they happy with the way the memorial turned out?
I think so, pretty much. Especially the Metro Veterans Council, they've done an awful lot of work with it. It's really turned out nice.
Yes, I think it's a marvelous setting, an overhead picture of this stadium, and that memorial is right where it should be. I think it stands out. Everybody sees it every time they come to the park.
Yes, sir.
There's a swing and a fly ball into center field. On the run, the center fielder dives, and Brewhager comes up with it. He just made a diving catch in center field. Well, we'll talk more about Marion Post 298 of the American Legion when we return for the top of the fifth inning. You're listening with the Cedar Rapids Kernels behind. South Bend leads 4-0. The zone is ready for you now, and you're listening to Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
When we were children, we were taught to save for a rainy day, but what if it rains harder than you expected? Tanya Sedlock, your professional Pekin insurance agent at Weidenhammer Andrews Agency, understands about the storms that life can bring. Whether you need auto, home, business, life, or health insurance, Tanya will review the coverages you need for your life and the lives of the ones you care about most. Help the sun shine on your life with a visit to your hometown Pekin insurance professional, Tanya Sedlock, at Weidenhammer Andrews Agency.
Phil Mickelson's figured out how to beat Tiger Woods head-to-head.
It has not ever worked yet. Don't get me wrong. It's not a plan that's worked yet.
But it may someday, and he let Dan Patrick in on the secret.
if he hit his iron shots first, he was so good, he would put it inside me and put more pressure.
You know what? That's interesting philosophy, that he put even more pressure because he's hitting his irons before you because you've outdriven him.
Well, not all the time was I able to do that, but when I was trying to go toe-for-toe with him off the tee, he would put even more pressure on me with his iron play, plus trying to drive it that long and keep up with him. I was hitting it a lot more wild, more crooked, missing fairways by a larger margin, which didn't put any pressure on him at all. So for me, when I got paired with him head-to-head at Doral, and I think in the future I'm going to take 20 yards off the tee shot, try to hit cuts in the fairway so that puts pressure off on his tee shots, and also I'm able to hit my iron shots first, which has been my biggest strength the last year and a half, and hopefully put a little more pressure on him.
The Dan Patrick Show on ESPN Radio.
Birdzirk and Birdzirk Jr. entertaining the fans in the stands before the start of the fifth inning, with South Bend up by the score of 4-0. And getting into the act for South Bend, one of the coaches for the Diamondbacks Farm Club. We're talking with Roger Norfolk, representing the Marion Legion Post 298. We talked about the Cedar Rapids Veterans Memorial out here at the ballpark. But, too, Roger was reminding me that Marion had a dedication within the last year of a new memorial, too.
Sure. It's a culmination of several years' effort of fundraising and all, and we're really proud of it. If folks haven't made a chance out to look at it, it's there just off of 31st Street, and I encourage everybody to come by and see it.
All right. You turn at Lebeda, and that's where it is.
Yes, sir.
Well, these things aren't easy to come by. It does take years of planning, a lot of effort, and a lot of work by a lot of people.
And especially for a nonprofit organization, it takes a lot of time to get the money up.
Yes, it does. Tell me about it. Brewhager swings on this pitch, lost a little lazy fly to left. Aaron Peel is there, and he hauls it in, and one man is gone. We're in the first half of the fifth inning here at the ballpark, and I'm sure out at Marion today you had memorial services, too, much the same as they had here in Cedar Rapids.
Yes, sir. We had one at 10 o'clock at the cemetery in Marion and at 11 o'clock at our post home.
And here it was at the ballpark at 10 and at Cedar Memorial, I believe, at 11, a little bit after that. And, well, we certainly were given a great day for this.
Absolutely wonderful.
There's a swing and a drive down the right field line that's going to go at least for a double by Bonifacio. He might try for three. He is. Here's the relay, but no go. It's a triple by Bonifacio. Bonifacio gets his third triple of the year. The drive into right field, got away from Madrigal, went to the 325-foot mark, and the Kernels are going to argue a bit on an appeal play, I think. Bobby Magianis claimed that the second base was missed, but the umpires say no. They've been in the act today with Birdzirk, of course, David Warren and Mark Evans, the two umpires. And that brings up Wilkin Castillo, left-handed batter, and the catcher for the Silverhawks with the infield drawn in. 4-0 South Bend. Pitch is outside for a ball. Infield in at the belt, Yelena fires, and this one is fouled back, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. So the damage has been done by South Bend in the main with 6 hits. Pitch is a ball. The throw to third gets away, but not far enough. Sandoval chases it down and holds the runner at third. Tommy Duenas made a hard throw that was a little bit low. Sandoval let it get away, but he had a bit of a glove on it, blocked it somewhat, and the runner could not advance. One out. There's a swing. He didn't get it. And the count is now 3 balls and a strike to Castillo. Stretch, 3-1. Swung on, fly ball into shallow center. Giannotti on the run. Diving catch. He didn't get it. He trapped it. The runner's trying to score. Throw to the plate. He is safe. Bonifácio scores. That makes it 5-0 on a little dump base hit into the outfield by Castillo of South Bend. Gets credit for a run driven in, his 13th of the year. And that makes the score 5-0, and Bobby Magallanes makes another trip to the mound. He has another point to make with the base umpire, undoubtedly claiming that the runner left third too quickly. Wouldn't make any difference, however, on that play because it was trapped in center field by Giannotti. Maggs, I think, had something to say to the pitcher, too, and consequently got a free trip out there to the mound. Yelena with the runner at first, and the run in. Slow curveball is inside for ball 1 and no strikes. Now there's 7 hits by the Silverhawks. Look, the pitch, curve, slow curve for a strike. That was only 76 miles an hour, so as the bullpen starts to rustle around down the right field line for the Kernels. Yelena checks. He isn't getting much on this pitch, and it's inside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Runner leads the pitch. Swung on and a vicious line drive. Just foul down the left field line. Roger, you were out here Friday with the Marion Color Guard, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Arthur's school night, I believe. And the Color Guard, I'm sure, with the Marion Post is quite active. What are some of the things you do with the Color Guard?
Well, the Color Guard, for the last 4 years, 3 of them we won first place at the state competition at the state convention, and we do a lot of funerals, a lot of people to honor.
Yes, sadly enough. And any events in Marion?
Well, the Swamp Fox is one of our big ones, and then we do a lot of Color Guards here during the summer months. But we're really, in terms of display events, we don't do an awful lot of those.
Yes. Would you characterize the Post as an active post?
Yes, sir, I would.
There's a strike over the outside corner. González is the batter after Murillo is out on strikes. And the runner remains at first base, Castillo. There's a swing and a fly ball. Giannotti's going to run for this one. And a running grab in left center field. He just floated along the green sward here at Memorial Stadium. And at the ballpark, Giannotti sailed under the ball and came up with it. And that retires González and the side. So we have played 4.5. And South Bend is up 5-0. They had a run on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 man left. You're listening to Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
What should you do with your glass bottles and jars once they're empty? Recycle them, of course. After rinsing the containers out, put the lids in your blue recycling box. Then separate your clear glass from your colored glass and place them in a separate plastic container. Set your glass beside your blue recycling box for curbside collection. City crews will empty the containers and leave your buckets at the curb. Remember to help the earth by putting glass in the recycling and not in the garbage.
It's Mike and Mike in the morning following the ongoing saga of Barry Bonds.
As far as blaming the media, that's where this thing really gets interesting to me, and it's something that goes well beyond sports. If you're going to go where Barry Bonds is, which is a very, very rarefied place, that's part of it.
You're right. When you sign the contract, this comes with it. So you better deal with it somehow, some way, and you're going to have to choose how you deal with it. Barry Bonds is choosing how to deal with it, and it certainly isn't working out very well for him as he points the finger at everybody else.
You wanted to bring me down. You finally brought me and my family down.
He's making it sound like his life is over. Here's a man that's close to breaking one of the most hallowed records of all time. Here's a man that's going to go down as one of the greatest baseball players, if not the greatest of all time. Here's a man that's family's family is set up for the rest of their lives from a game of baseball, sounding downtrodden and defeatist. Give me a break, Barry. Get over it.
It's Mike and Mike in the morning on ESPN Radio.
We get ready now for the last half of the fifth inning, and the Kernels in arrears by 5-0. Warner Madrigal will be the first hitter, and Major League Baseball on this Memorial Day is active too. The Florida Marlins have defeated Pittsburgh on a 2-1 5-hitter. Both sides had 5 hits in the game, but the Marlins, well, they're winning it that way and make it the last half of the 8th inning. 2-1, Florida over Pittsburgh at the moment. Also into the 8th inning, Cincinnati leading Houston 2-0. Swinging a foul back by Warner on the first pitch by Austin Shappy. Into the 4th inning, Atlanta 1 and Washington 0. Those are the only games going. There's a fly ball easily handled by Mark Reynolds at short. One man is out. And again, Shappy has the Kernels popping them up.
Bob, I concur. Only 2 strikeouts. That's exactly what his season record shows, that he doesn't walk batters and that he's not a power pitcher, but that he has the Kernels constantly off stride.
Well, that can take him a long way.
Taking Greg Maddux to a Hall of Fame career. Nick Touchstone is warming up down the right field line for the Kernels. He likely will take over for Carl Jelena in the 6th inning.
Here's Tommy Duenas taking a strike on the inside corner. And tomorrow, Wisconsin comes to town. 6:30 start as the pitch is fouled back by Tommy Duenas, and quickly the count goes to strike 2. Now, that's what Shappy has been doing all afternoon. He gets the first pitch in. The second pitch is usually fouled off. The batter's out in front 0-2, or the pitcher's out in front 0-2 and in a hole. But Tommy Duenas gets out of it with a solid single to left. Shappy put one in there, and Duenas can handle it.
Just the 3rd Kernel hit of the day, and in a 5-0 game, perhaps Tommy has gotten something going for the Kernels.
That'll bring up Jordan Rentz. He grounded out short to first in his first appearance. There is a ball that's low at U.S. Cellular Field on the south side of Chicago, better known as New Comiskey Park. The L.A. Angels of Anaheim and the White Sox, they're going to play today. Baltimore and Boston later on, Tampa Bay and Oakland. This pitch is too low for a ball. Makes it ball 2 and no strikes. St. Louis and Colorado, the Cubs and the Dodgers out at Dodger Stadium, Milwaukee and San Diego and Toronto and Seattle.
What a vast difference from when I was a kid. Memorial Day meant day baseball, and for the most part, it was 75% doubleheaders.
Inside for a ball. Ball 3 and no strikes. So all of a sudden, after easily getting Madrigal to pop out in the infield, Austin Chappie of South Bend gets in trouble. This pitch is fouled off as Jordan Rance, batting 143, swung on a 3-0 pitch. That's how badly he wants to get a base hit. Tommy Duenas at first. Here's the pitch. Too low for ball 4. So the Kernels, for the first time this afternoon, get 2 men on. Runners at first and second with 1 out, and here's Giannotti. Batting .234. Left-handed hitter. At the belt to pitch. Swung on and he wrapped it foul. Between the coach at first and the first base bag. Down towards Touchstone in the bullpen. Last half of the 5th inning at Cedar Rapids. 5-0. The score of the game in favor of South Bend. 2 on, 1 out for the Kernels. Swung on, and Giannotti fights that one off. It's still strike 2. And again, Chappie out in front of the batter. South Bend, the leader in the Midwest League East.
And the folks coming in tomorrow evening that you told our listeners about, Bob, Wisconsin leads the West. They lead our division by a half game over Quad City.
Stretch pitch. Swung on. Ground ball. Slowly hit. Over to second out. No chance for a relay. They get 1 on a possible double play, but the ball was not hit sharply enough. And Giannotti is safe at first on the fielder's choice.
Yes,
going to third, Tommy Duenas.
You're right, Bob. Bonifacio had to come in and thought about trying to tag the runner Renz flashing in front of him, but Jordan was by him before he could do that, so he turned his body, pivoted, and got the runner Renz. Now, if Alexi Casilla can come through, we could make a game of it here.
Runners at first and third, 2 out to pitch. Swung on and fouled out of play. Casilla put it in the air, but foul. Left-handed batter. Left side of the infield, in just a bit. There's a line drive, opposite field, but foul past Bobby Magallanes, and
there's that familiar count, Bob, 0-2.
0-2 again. This fellow doesn't throw 90 miles an hour, but he can pitch it here, pitch it there, and throws strikes. The slider goes outside.
Nick Touchstone continues to heat it up down the right field line. Hopefully, if he does take over in the 6th inning, the Kernels will have a run or 2 on the board. It is up to Alexi Casilla to come out of this 1-2 hole.
Now the stretch. Here's the pitch. Too low for a ball. So after getting strikes on Casilla, Chappie has come back with 1 high and wide and 1 too low. Ball 2, strike 2. The center fielder is playing towards left. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Ground ball right field. That scores the first run of the game for the Kernels. Rounding second, going to third is Giannotti, and he is out going to third. How about that? You just can't do that sort of thing. That takes you right out of the ball game, as it is 5-1. The ball was not hit that sharply, and the relay got Giannotti trying for third. But the run scores. At least the Kernels get one run. Casilla gets credit for a base hit. And Giannotti is thrown out on a nice relay by Bonifácio. Man, oh man. The play was well covered by South Bend. Give the Silverhawks credit for playing it correctly, but they had Giannotti at third.
By plenty.
At the end of 5, it's 5-1 in favor of South Bend. You're listening to Colonel Baseball in the Zone.
Hi, this is Dave Town with Five Seasons Transportation and Parking. Do you ever wonder if it's safe to send your child on the bus? It is, and here's a few reasons why. All the buses in Cedar Rapids are equipped with security cameras, so the drivers always know what's happening behind them. The buses also have global positioning systems, or GPS, which means they can be tracked at any time by satellite. Does that surprise you? It shouldn't. Five Seasons Transportation takes safety very seriously, and we've taken many steps to make sure your child will have a safe, easy ride every time they take the bus. Even when your child isn't on the bus, Five Seasons Transportation is helping keep them safe by using pollution-free biodiesel and alcohol fuels, Iowa products that help keep the air clean. And if your child is ever in trouble, they can always flag down a bus for help. I'm Dave Town, and I like to think of the bus as a traveling safety cocoon, motoring along Cedar Rapids streets. And keep in mind, if the bus is that safe and easy for your child, maybe you should think about riding the bus to work. Affordable, convenient, and safe. That's the bus. Ride it.
We've been telling you for some time that Greg's Lawn Service is a cut above the rest when it comes to caring for your lawn. However, Greg's experienced staff does so much more than lawn care. They offer complete landscape design and installation, concrete curb edging, grading, sodding, and hydro seeding. Yes, Greg's is a complete lawn care service, and they welcome the opportunity to show you why they are a cut above the rest. Give Greg's a call for more details about their wide range of services.
Brito of South Bend fouls the first pitch back as we start the sixth inning, and the Kernels again run themselves out of an opportunity to get back in this game, now trailing 5-1. Curveball is a called strike. Beautiful, beautiful day for a Memorial Day. Here's the pitch. Curveball swung on, tapped towards third. Sandoval gloves it, fires. He is out at first base. One gone. Alan Mottram, the DH, he's doubled and scored and has flied out. Jelena is still on the mound. Touchstone was just throwing in the bullpen, still standing down there. Curveball, strike is called. That was a 38-mile-an-hour curveball. Hey, give me a bat. There's a ball that's outside. That was 74. The motion by Jelena. Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a high drive to left. It is well hit. If it's fair, it's out of here, but it's a foul ball. Speaking of Berserk, ball one and strike two with one out. And a 5-1 South Bend lead. Cedar Rapids in the field. Here's the pitch. Low and in the dirt, and the count now ball two, strike two. Mottram, 321 batter. Now takes that foot, puts it in the correct spot. Has a little pivot when the pitch is thrown, and this one's outside, 3-2. Here it is, 3-2, inside, ball four. So after getting a couple of strikes, Yelena walks with one out, Alan Mottram. Mark Reynolds, the shortstop, he's sacrificed and singled. Right-handed batter. The thing that has been impressive about South Bend, when they have scoring opportunities, they can bunch their hits and get runs, as they did last night. Trailing 5-1 into the ninth. Silverhawks won 6-5. There's a curved strike over the outside corner. Jelena, 1-2, lost 2. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a drive into left field for a base hit, well timed. Aaron Peel picks it up. The Kernels pitcher, here comes Bobby Magianis. Jelena is just throwing batting practice down there, and Kernan Ronan is going to make the walk, I guess, this time to the mound, other than Bobby. And Touchtone has started to throw again, and it's trivia question time.
It sure is. Something new over at your Springhouse restaurant. On mornings, they have chicken fried steaks covered with sausage gravy served with eggs and toast. Sounds pretty good. Our Springhouse trivia question today. Only 2 pitchers have won 20 games in a season and then saved 50 games in a season later in their careers. Name one of them. Again, the question is, only 2 pitchers have won 20 games in a season and then saved 50 games in a season later in their careers. Name one of them. Our phone number here is 896-7589. It's already called in. Try and give other people a chance to win. Again, our phone number is 896-7589.
Here's a curveball that is low and outside. As our phones are ringing, we have Millens with 2 men on. His swing and a high fly ball. Under it is Casilla. He's got it, and 2 men are out. Two out and 2 on. Millens flies to the second baseman of the Kernels. That brings up Brewhager. Josh, left-handed batter, slide out to left in the second, did the same thing in the fifth. Now the stretch, here's the pitch. Swung on and hit foul off to the left. Hope you're having wherever you may be, a wonderful holiday and remembering what this Memorial Day is really for. Runners at first and second for South Bend. Apparently on pitch counts, the brain trust of the Kernels wants Jelena to throw a lot today. Ground ball to the right side. Castillo flips to the shortstop. Rodriguez to retire the side on the fielder's choice. Nice pitching. He got him out of there, and the play goes 4-6 on the fourth. With no runs and 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left at the end of 5 1/2. South Bend 5, Cedar Rapids Kernels 1. You're listening to Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
It takes a lot of energy to find a new home, and it would be easy if you were willing to move into just any old place. But let's be honest, you're not. You want to find a home that's close to work, has a nice yard, you'd love it to have big windows and a 3-car garage on a nice residential street, and you can only spend so much. It'll take a lot of legwork and inside information to find a place that fits all of these criteria. Now, you could quit your job to make time for all of it, or you could find a realtor with boundless energy, like David Cleary at Iowa Realty. Now, once you meet him, you'll understand. David Cleary's like that pink battery bunny. He doesn't stop. He's always on the go, looking, finding, calling. He searches tirelessly for just exactly what you're looking for. And if it doesn't exist, David Cleary at Iowa Realty can help make it come to life, because he works with the #1 builder in the state of Iowa, Regency Homes. Use your time wisely. Buy a new Regency home from David Cleary at Iowa Realty. Call him anytime, 981-1616. He won't stop until you are in your new Regency home.
Race fans want the inside scoop on what's going on in the world of IMCA racing? Listen each Saturday morning at 8 a.m. for In the Pit from the IMCA Motorsports Radio Network. John and Jr. take you around the Midwest and the country with the latest news, results, and interviews with the nation's top drivers.
Hi, I'm Doug Thompson of the IMCA Motorsports Radio Network. I hope you get a chance to catch John and Jr. and In the Pit every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. from KCRG 1600 AM, The Zone from Cedar Rapids.
With Bird Circus Batman, the Kernels would like to have some bats, too, mainly with some hits in them. And in the last half of the sixth inning, the totals so far, 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors, South Bend, a run, 4 hits, 1 error, Cedar Rapids. John, do you have a winner on
Bob? We sure do. A Springhouse Family Restaurant baseball trivia question winner is Julia told our listeners new at the Springhouse in the morning, chicken fried steak covered with sausage gravy and served with eggs and toast. And what a remarkable accomplishment these two pitchers had. Only 2 pitchers have won 20 games in a season, then saved 50 games in a later season in their careers. We asked our listeners to name one of them, and Doug Kwater, K-W-A-T-E-R of Marion, identified Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley, who won 20 games as an Indian in 1978, then saved 51 with Oakland in 92. He, along with John Smoltz of the Braves, the only 2 hurlers in baseball history to win 20 in a season, then later save 50.
Here's the pitch. He swung on it as Sean Rodriguez takes strike 1. We have Austin Chappie out there on the mound. He's strolled through 5 innings, usually getting out in front of the batters, or at least after 2 pitches even with them, as he is with Rodriguez now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Lined up, here's the pitch. Curve, swung on and popped foul. That'll be out of play back into the stands. And that ball wound up in a person's lap down there.
I guess that's the soft way to catch it. Well, congratulations to Doug Kwater of Marion. John Smoltz won 24 with the Braves in 96, and then in 2002, Smoltz saved 55 games. He's now back in the Atlanta starting rotation.
There's a swing and a bouncy ball over the pitcher's head. Shortstop knocks it down, throws. He is out on a great play. Mark Reynolds went deep behind second base, saved the ball from going to the outfield, and then threw across in time to get Rodriguez. And that's as good a play as you'll see anywhere in the infield on a Memorial Day afternoon.
Sean tried desperately to beat it out with an old Chet Lemon head-first slide, but the base umpire, Mark Evans, called Sean out by a whisker.
Now the windup of the pitch to Sandoval. He hits it foul just past the coach at first for the Kernels. Justin Bauman is down there, the hitting coach. Justin does a nice job for the Anaheim club. This is his second tour in Cedar Rapids. It's always nice to see Justin. Now the pitch. Outside for a ball.
And Bob, you know this because you follow the club closely. Justin's here 7 or 8 hours before game time working with our hitters.
The pitch. There's outside for a ball, 2 balls and a strike. When the club reported here the first part of April, Justin came north with them and was ill.
Yeah, he was under the weather, to say the least.
Pitch. Outside for a ball that goes 3-1 to Freddy Sandoval.
Kernels are hitting .267 here at home, .240 overall.
There's a high drive into center field, well hit. Center fielder is back there, and Drew Hogger hauls it in. Drew Hogger had to get back, almost turned around the wrong way, but righted himself and made the catch in front of the warning track and in front of the 400-foot mark. That's the best hit ball that the Kernels have had this afternoon. Brings up Aaron Peel. Strike gets called. There's that first strike again by Austin Chappie. Now the delivery. Swinging a high fly ball will be handled by Brewhager in center field. He's got it, and that retires the side. So again, a bunch of fly ball outs by the Cedar Rapids Kernels, and no runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. We have completed 6 innings with 5 runs, 8 hits for South Bend, 1 run and 4 hits for the Kernels. You're listening to Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
I'll live for you, I'll feed your cat, I'll fold your undies at the laundromat, unless you want me to have them dry. I get paid for that. I'll work things out, things get bad. I'll shave my soul patch before I meet your dad. I'll wear a turtleneck to strategically hide my tattoos if I can. I'm quitting the band, I'm waiting your hand. I'm giving you all my time, but this Dr. Pepper is mine. Rich taste, forget it. This Dr. Pepper is mine. One taste and you get it. I'm shocked with you, always be true. I'll never share my Dr. Pepper with you. Sorry. This Dr. Pepper is mine. One taste and you get it. So rich. This Dr. Pepper is mine. So refreshing taste, drinking by the case. This Dr. Pepper is mine. It's even a word.
Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees are proud to support one of our community's most renowned and cherished assets, the Cedar Rapids Kernels. Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees believe in the core values that comprise the essence of Kernel baseball: fun, wholesome, affordable entertainment for us all. As you look ahead to the many joys of summer, your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees encourage you to visit the fabulous new Veterans Memorial Stadium. Your Cedar Rapids and Marion Hy-Vees, embracing Kernel baseball, a community treasure.
Bob Brooks, John Rogers here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. After 6 innings, 5-1 South Bend. They'll send the top of their order up to face Carl Jelena, the right-hander, here in the top of the 7th inning. And Jelena fires a strike to Emilio Bonifácio. He tripled and scored in the 5th inning to give the Silverhawks a 5-0 lead. The Kernels answered with their only run of the day in the bottom of the 5th. A tap to second, easy for Alexi Casilla. He sidearms to first, and Emilio Bonifácio is retired on a bouncer to second, 1 away here in the top of the 7th. Bob has been painting a picture of delightful conditions and wonderful weather here today. It is perfect, and a big crowd is here. Big crowd, and they're enjoying the sun out in the Papa John's Plaza down the right field line as Wilkin Castillo bats. Bob, I have to paint an eerie picture in that yesterday Jesse Smith was sailing along, pitching brilliantly, just as Austin Chappie is for the Silverhawks, and Kernels led going into the 9th inning 5-1. And is it too much to hope that the Kernels could turn the tables on the Silverhawks and give them a taste of their own medicine today?
Well, as long as Chappie's in there, I would say no.
I would agree, and the key yesterday is that Jesse Smith had the first 2 men reach on him on an infield single and then a broken bat single, and in came T.J. Stanton and then a misplay in right field, and the result was a disastrous 5-run 9th inning. Tommy Duenas on a bunt attempt by Wilkin Castillo has taken one right between the legs, and that'll knock the wind out of anybody. Tommy is now back on his feet as Colonel Trainer Eric Munson dashes back into the Colonel first base dugout.
Oftentimes when that happens to a catcher, I'm thinking for him. He steps back, takes off the mask, and he has an expression, what am I doing here?
Exactly. A ground ball fair past the diving Chris Walson into the right field corner. Let's see if Warner Madrigal can hold the batter to a single. He's trying for two, and a head-first slide by Wilkin Castillo just ahead of the throw by Madrigal. That hit is the 9th of the afternoon for the Silverhawks. Nick Touchstone was warming up earlier in the Colonel bullpen. He's not out there anymore, and a runner at second with one out. Bob, what you're saying is that ball that hits you between the legs not only takes the wind out of you, but knocks your senses out a little bit because of the restricted blood flow, and you wonder where you are.
Well, yes, and why am I doing this?
Exactly. You can't pay me.
I could get a real job.
A breaking pitch in the dirt for ball one. They used to say that the quickest road to the big leagues was catching, and I don't agree with that anymore. I think the quickest road to the big leagues now is if you're a pitcher and can pitch.
And a left-hander.
Right, exactly. Those two characteristics will get to the big leagues quick if you can pitch and if you're a lefty. Carl Jelena with a changeup, and it's in for a strike. It's 1-1 to Augustine Murillo. Augustine among the league leaders in every department, batting average, home runs, hits, runs scored, right-handed slugger. And he lifts one high in the air, a can of corn into left center. Aaron Peel gives way to Richard Giannotti, and Richard has it. Richard then heaves it into third to prevent the runner Castillo from trying to go to third. Giannotti is wearing those permanent sunglasses, so to speak. The ball players of my era, Bob, used to wear flip-down shades, but Giannotti's wearing permanently affixed sunglasses, therefore he didn't have to flip the glasses down.
Well, when you come from Miami, you have to have a different look.
Got to play the part, right?
Why, certainly.
I think Oakley is the brand that most of the professional baseball players wear. It's I never dreamed you could pay $250 for sunglasses, but you can now.
You can?
Yes, you can.
Well, good.
I still do the old Dollar General specials at $3 a piece because I lose them all the time. In fact, the guys kid me about my sunglasses. They've seen better days through the years. Here's a shot into right. Let's see if Madrigal can showcase his arm. The throw home by Warner. The runner from second is safe. The throw was late and to the first base side of the plate, and now it's a 6-1 lead for the visiting Silverhawks. Carlos Gonzalez, a .279 hitter who's just murdered the Kernels in this series, has drilled a 2-out RBI single into right to make it 6-1 in favor of the Silverhawks.
Well, I guess what we've seen in the 4 games here is that, at least for the time being, the Kernels are overmatched with South Bend.
I would agree, and I made the same statement when we played the Beloit Snappers. We won the first game in Beloit, then dropped the next 3, and I said Beloit's the better ball club. Ball 1 to Javier Brito. The sad part, or the disappointing part of this series is really, Bob, the Silverhawks ahead 6-1 should be looking at a split of this series. The Kernels, or actually they should be looking to salvage a game with a win here today. You and I would agree with 15 hits on Saturday night and 4 Silverhawk errors, there's no way we should have let that one slip away. But poor base running decisions spelled our doom. And then what can you say about taking a 5-1 lead into the 9th inning yesterday? I agree with you. There's a reason a ball club is 30-20 and the other club is 20-30. And a winning ball club finds a way to win in different ways every day. Swinging a foul by Javier Brito.
And when they get you down, they pound.
Exactly. That's what Dale Broad, our public address announcer, was saying, is that Andy Pantini was saying, we just don't do that. Here's a hard ground ball to third, and Freddy Sandoval leads Alexi Casilla perfectly at second for a 5-4 force out of Carlos Gonzalez. 7 innings in the book for the Silverhawks. They add to their lead with 1 run in the 7th on 2 base hits. There were no Colonel errors, and South Bend leaves a runner aboard. They've stranded 5. Well, let's listen to Sue Sample. I wonder what she has for the crowd here. Let's tune in and see what Sue Sample has for the 7th inning stretch. You can hear Sue is leading this big crowd in a wonderful baseball tradition, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. After 6.5, as the crowd enjoys their 7th inning stretch here at the ballpark on Memorial Day, South Bend trouncing the Kernels 6-1, and you're tuned to Kernel Baseball here in the Zone.
When we were children, we were taught to save for a rainy day, but what if it rains harder than you expected? Tanya Sedlock, your professional Pekin insurance agent at Weidenhammer Andrews Agency, understands about the storms that life can bring. Whether you need auto, home, business, life, or health insurance, Tanya will review the coverages you need for your life and the lives of the ones you care about most. Help the sun shine on your life with a visit to your hometown Pekin insurance professional, Tanya Sedlock, at Weidenhammer Andrews Agency.
Phil Mickelson's figured out how to beat Tiger Woods head-to-head.
It has not ever worked yet. Don't get me wrong. It's not a plan that's worked yet.
But it may someday, and he let Dan Patrick in on the secret.
If he hit his iron shots first, he was so good, he would put it inside and put more pressure.
You know what? That's interesting philosophy, that he put even more pressure because he's hitting his irons before you because you've outdriven him.
Well, not all the time was I able to do that, but when I was trying to go toe-for-toe with him off the tee, he would put even more pressure on me with his iron play, plus trying to drive it that long and keep up with him. I was hitting it a lot more wild, more crooked, missing fairways by a larger margin, which didn't put any pressure on him at all. So for me, when I got paired with him head-to-head at Doral, and I think in the future I'm going to take 20 yards off the tee shot, try to hit cuts in the fairway so that puts pressure off on his tee shots, and also I'm able to hit my iron shots first, which has been my biggest strength the last year and a half, and hopefully put a little more pressure on him.
The Dan Patrick Show on ESPN Radio.
Austin Shappy has scattered 4 hits and shackled the Kernels with those 4 hits on 1 run. We're going to the bottom of the 7th, and it's 6-1 South Bend. Big Chris Walston is first up, and he hits one to straightaway center. Moving a few steps to his left to make the catch on the towering fly ball is Josh Buhajer, and boy, Bob, that is now 4 putouts for Buhajer, and this Austin Shappy 7-1 with 2 complete games and a 2.51 ERA. He's 22 years old, and he knows how to pitch. He may help the Diamondbacks down the road.
Yes, he might. In fact, he could help Tampa Bay. He could help Houston. He could help Colorado.
That's why we said in the last half inning, if you can pitch, you'll make it to the big leagues quicker than any position. A change-up low to Warner Madrigal. Our Colonel Did You Know question is the Colonel's bat in the bottom of the 7th has to do with an astounding rookie season from a Boston Red Sox. Here's a base hit into left by Warner Madrigal. Warner is 2 for 3. He owns 2 of the Colonel's 5 hits. Warner pulled it on the ground to the left of Augustine Murillo for a 1-out single here in the bottom of the 7th. An astounding rookie year for a Red Sox by the name of Walt Dropo back in 1950. He won the American League Rookie of the Year. He hit .322, 34 home runs, and fell 1 RBI short of Ted Williams' all-time rookie record for RBIs, 145. Dropo drove in 144. Our Did You Know question, Walt Dropo at 6'5", 220, was drafted by the Chicago Bears. Here's a line shot down the left field line for a base hit. It falls in front of Jeremy Millins, and the Kernels are making some noise here in the home half of the 7th. Back-to-back singles by Madrigal and Duenas. That's Tommy's second hit of the day. It's first and second, 1 out for Jordan Renz. Bob, Walt Dropo, sadly enough, never came close to matching that 1950 rookie season with 144 RBIs. But Walt Dropo at 6'5", 220 was nicknamed the Moose, and the Bears drafted him.
Well, in that time in baseball, a player of that size simply wasn't around.
It wasn't common?
No.
Okay.
They were almost, you would call them, I
smaller
suppose
guys?
you'd call them freaks.
Okay.
Really.
Oh, guys that big?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they were, baseball didn't have players like that.
6'5", 220. Jordan Renz takes low, or a strike, now a pitch low for a ball. Well, Walt Dropo was drafted by the Bears after he drove in 144 runs in 1950 for the AL Rookie of the Year. He beat out Whitey Ford. The next season, he hit .239 with 57 RBIs. Maybe a case of too much success and you couldn't live up to it. Jordan Renz takes a slider for strike 2.
Well, I think that, as I remember, Walt, he stayed in the major leagues a long period of time.
Yes, he did. He just never matched that astonishing rookie year where he hit 34 homers and drove in 144 for the Red Sox. Let's see if Jordan Renz can come through with something clutch here and put the Kernels back in the ball game at 6-1 South Bend, bottom of the 7th. A liner to second, through the second baseman's diving attempt. It's a base hit, and it loads the bases. It loads the bases. Madrigal, Bob, had to be sure that Bonifacio wasn't going to come up with a leaping stab of that line drive. He did not want to take a chance on getting doubled off second.
And besides that, he didn't take off for third until he knew the ball was in the outfield.
And when it did shoot by the diving Emilio Bonifacio, it went into center. The bases are loaded now for Richard Giannotti, and the first appearance today of Wellington Cepeda, the pitching coach for the South Bend Silverhawks. Richard Giannotti will bat with the bases loaded, 1 out, bottom of the 7th, 6-1 Silverhawks. Richard with a bunt single, his 10th of the year in the 3rd inning, and then he reached on a fielder's choice and was thrown out trying to go from 1st to 3rd on an RBI single by Casilla in the 5th inning.
Well, Cepeda's going to leave Shappy in there, but he has a left-hander throwing in the left field bullpen.
Yes, that southpaw for South Bend is Hippolito Guerrero, the winner here on Saturday night. Well, the crowd has come alive.
Well, at least the Kernels are giving them something to cheer about.
Let's get them roaring rather than just cheering. Richard Giannotti on the first pitch. Looks at it just low, ball 1. Madrigal at third, Duenas at second, Renz at first. All three of them have singled here with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning, 6-1 Silverhawks.
And the Kernels have 7 hits now to 10 for South Bend. That pitch was 86 miles an hour.
The next one is low and away, ball 2 to Richard Giannotti, and maybe, just maybe, the Kernels are primed to jump on Austin Shappy for a big 7th inning. Third baseman Augustine Murillo plays way off the line for the Silverhawks. Richard skies one into left center. It'll score a run, and it'll be the 2nd out of the inning. Tagging at third as Buhaja makes the catch and scoring is Warner Madrigal. And that does bring the crowd alive. Richard Giannotti's sacrifice fly cuts the Silverhawk lead to 6-4 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Staying at second was Tommy Duenas on the fly ball sacrifice out by Richard Giannotti.
Well, Buhaja made the right throw towards third to keep the man at second.
And with 2 on, 2 out, the Kernels leadoff batter, who has the only other run driven in today, Alexi Casilla, will bat. Alexi 1 for 3. Drove in the first Kernel run in this game with an RBI single with 2 out in the 5th inning. Alexi, a switch hitter, batting left, open stance. The right-hander misses high, and that's a telltale sign, Bob, that he is fatiguing or at least losing something, because he's not fallen behind any hitters until this inning.
And this is the first inning that he's started to kind of aim the pitches, too.
Alexi Casilla batting .245. Wallops one into left center. Way back. It's going to get to the gap and go to the wall. 1 run is in to make it 6-3. That's Tommy Duenas. Here comes Jordan Renz following him. The relay throw home. Not in time. And it's a 6-4 game in favor of the Silverhawks on a 2-out, 2-run double by Alexi Casilla. Bob, this crowd's been waiting all afternoon to burst at the seams, and a base hit now by Rodriguez would make it a 1-run game.
3 men were plated that time, and a perfect tweener.
Sean takes a strike at the knees. The Kernels are right back in it at 6-4 South Bend here in the bottom of the 7th. Rodriguez nothing for 3 this afternoon. Could make it a 1-run game with a base hit off right-hander Austin Shappy. The Kernels have plated 3 on 4 hits here in the 7th. A check swing by Sean. He went around, according to the plate umpire David Warren, strike 2. Double barrel action in the Kernel bullpen, lefty Jamie Douglas and right-hander Miguel González. Rodriguez will cut down his swing a little bit and try to put the ball in play on this 0-2 delivery. Low, ball 1. Oh, Bob, I know you're going to be having to cast off here in a few minutes, but hopefully on your drive home, we can erase the disappointment yesterday when you heard us take a 5-1 lead into the 9th and you turned off the radio.
I'm counting on it.
Okay, we blew the lead. Maybe today we can be the team to come back. Swing and a miss by Rodriguez on a pitch in the dirt. The catcher behind home plate has to throw out Sean at first to complete the strikeout. And the Kernels leave a runner at second, but they score 3 runs in the 7th on 4 hits. No South Bend errors, 1 left. The Kernels have only stranded 3 today. Well, the Kernels have made a game of it. As we go to the top of the 8th, South Bend leads it 6-4. Bob, enjoy the rest of the Memorial Day with family and friends.
And same to you.
We sure will, Bob.
We'll see you tomorrow, 6:30 here at the ballpark, and another number 1 team, Wisconsin, coming to town.
We'll look forward to it. Thanks to Bob Brooks. On Memorial Day after 7, it's now South Bend leading the Kernels 6-4. You're enjoying Kernel baseball here in the Zone.
Duty, honor, country. These 3 words define who we are. Duty. Friends and neighbors united for the common good, in service to others, and for the benefit of all. Honor. The deep-rooted faith that selfless dedication to a noble cause is right, just, and good. Country. A solemn vow volunteered to support our nation's people during desperate times. Mercy. In the midst of nature's wrath. Hope when all seems lost. Duty, honor, country. We're the Army National Guard. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD. That's 1-800-GO-GUARD.
In the Army National Guard, you can.
Sponsored by the Iowa National Guard. Aired by the Iowa Broadcasters Association and this station.
There's a toll-free way you can call the KCRG TV9 News team with your news tips. Just dial 365-9999. 365-9999. It's Newsline 9, and it's your direct line to the TV9 newsroom. Call us with breaking news, interesting story ideas, weather information, or sports scores. When you see news happen anywhere in eastern Iowa, remember this number, 365-9999. Newsline 9. It makes you a part of the KCRG TV9 News team.
No truth.
Lots of fun here at the ballpark as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Bird Zirk is putting on an unforgettable show. Colonel Broadcast Assistant Julia Jansen has rejoined us. Julia will also be filling us in on the Colonel Curtain Call, all the scores on the State Farm Major League scoreboard. Carl Jelena showing a great deal of fortitude and sturdiness is back on the hill to start the 8th inning. He was into his windup, and the plate umpire called time. Julia, we bill ourselves as and proudly, we don't brag about it, but we proudly believe we're the most wholesome, affordable, fun form of family entertainment in eastern Iowa. I think this big crowd here this afternoon would concur, not only with the great action on the field, ball 1 to the batter, Mottram, now he bounces one foul past third, but Bird Zirk has really been outstanding today.
Perhaps it's the kid in me, but I think he's hilarious.
He is hilarious. Julia, don't hold back. He's had you laughing all afternoon with his crazy, unpredictable antics. Here's a high fly ball swatted into deep center. Richard Giannotti way back, and he makes a great catch! Richard Giannotti narrowly missed a magnificent catch earlier today. This time, Richard went back and leapt at the base of the warning track and took a triple away from Alan Mottram. Oh, Richard Giannotti going all out in center field, and he made a dynamite catch. I'll tell you what, Julia, here comes Bobby Magallanes to replace Carl Jelena, the hurler, and Carl sure pitched his heart out here this afternoon. We'll wait and give the crowd reaction to Carl Jelena. I think he's going to be lifted here in the top of the 8th inning, having surrendered 6 runs on 10 hits in 7 1/3. I want our listeners to hear the ovation for Carl Jelena. Then I want your comment about something I'm going to say about this Kernel Ball Club. Here comes Carl Jelena off the hill, and let's see if the fans give him the ovation he deserves. Well, Julia, that's a pretty informed crowd this afternoon to know that Carl Jelena certainly didn't have the great stuff Jesse Smith had yesterday, but Carl battled all afternoon.
Yes.
And what I wanted to say about the Kernels is I'm not a Cub fan, and you can say what you want about Dusty Baker, but I've always respected Dusty for the way he goes about his business, and he said something on a Cub broadcast the other day that I thought made sense. He said you don't have to kick a team when they're down. And what he meant by that is they know the team that's down, like the Kernels are, they generally know what they have to do to get better. And if you kick a team when they're down, TV9's John Campbell, thank you so much for being here. I know you've got some great footage of Berg Zerk and of Sue Sample, and hopefully that big double by Alexi Casilla. John Campbell covering this afternoon's game for TV9 Sports. That catch by Giannotti, I think, epitomizes that the Kernel rough spell this spring, 10 games below 500, has not been due to lack of effort.
Plus, Giannotti's been giving 150% today. He's been after every one of those balls diving. His uniform, probably Rhodey's, our equipment manager's worst nightmare right now.
It's because it has grass stain all over
and dirt
it.
everywhere, but he's been making a big effort out there.
Well, let's put in perspective how well Carl Jelena did pitch in terms of his fortitude. Carl did not strike out a batter in his 7 1/3. He gives up 6 runs on 10 hits. 4 of the runs are earned. Remember, an error by Sean Rodriguez in front of a 2-run home run by Carlos González means that 4 of the 6 runs were earned. Jelena 7 1/3, 6 runs, 4 earned on 10 hits, struck out none, and Carl only walked 1 batter. 1 out thanks to the brilliant, spectacular catch by Richard Giannotti in deep center. He robbed Alan Mottram of an extra base hit. And now a lefty is on for the Kernels, Jamie Douglas. Jamie's first pitch is outside. Jamie Douglas is a southpaw. He's been used rather sparingly by the Kernels this season. In fact, Julia will give you his numbers here in just a moment as ball 2 is up and away from Jamie Douglas to the batter. It's 2-0 to Reynolds, and now Jamie misses just low for ball 3.
Jamie has a 1-1 record right now with a 9.00 ERA. He's had 17 innings pitched, 4 home runs, 13 bases on balls, and 13 strikeouts.
And Jamie puts the first batter aboard. Mark Reynolds never took the bat off his shoulder, and he's at first with 1 out here in the top of the 8th, 6-4 in favor of South Bend. Jamie Douglas, 22 years old, from Southern Ohio, went to school at the University of Central Florida, told us earlier this spring on the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show that as a kid he loved motocross. I had to have him define what motocross was. He said, John, get Cablevision, turn on the speed channel, and late at night, around midnight, you'll see guys going over big moguls, big dirt bumps on motorcycles. That's what Jamie used to do.
Berg Zerk came out in a motocross, or a 4-wheeler earlier today.
An ATV. And we're not recommending that any of you parents purchase those. They are very dangerous, those ATVs. You have to be trained and wear a helmet, and even then, they have a high rate of fatality. But when used properly, they're a very fun form of transportation. Jamie's next pitch is a strike to Jeremy Millins. Millins delivered the devastating blow in the top of the 9th here yesterday, a 2-out, 2-run homer to put Silverhawks ahead for the first time since the first inning. They led 6-5 after Millen's ninth-inning home run. They won 6-5. Runner at first, Mark Reynolds. He draws a throw, and he's back safely. Kernels in their red knit batting practice tops today with all navy blue caps, white trousers, red socks. The Silverhawks, the visitors, are in gray road uniforms with black numbers trimmed in gold. Millens crushes one right at Richard Giannotti, who has to come in and make a shoestring catch. Well, Richard has been given a full-fledged workout this afternoon in center field. The hardest ball to judge in center field is the one that Giannotti just mastered, a line drive right at you. It was a sinking line drive, and Richard Giannotti, who has sparkled all afternoon in center for the Kernels, made the play. 1 on, 2 out for Josh Buhaja. Buhaja is nothing for 3. He's a left-handed hitter playing in his 4th game. Jamie Douglas's first pitch is wrapped foul off to the left. Strike 1. We've been so busy here this afternoon that we haven't had a chance to thank Connie and John Duncan for visiting the broadcast booth. Connie's a fellow Rotarian of mine. She runs Marketing Communication Strategies, that beautiful house on First Avenue. A curveball is inside. It's 1-1 to Buhaja. And her husband, John Duncan, a huge, huge baseball fan. They're taking in the action here. They were kind enough to bring us 2 batches of chocolate chip cookies. And Julia, have you had a chance to sample those yet?
No, I didn't even see those. I've been so into the game.
Well, you need, after this top of the 8th inning, to just turn around on our producer's counter where John and Connie Duncan are sitting and sample one of them. They're soft, just like they came out of the oven.
Yum.
Ball 2 is high to Buhaja. Runner at first, 2 out. Top of the 8th inning, 6-4 Kernels. Jamie Douglas delivers. A bouncer to first. Chris Walston has it, takes 3 steps to his left to tag the base. It's an unassisted putout for Chris Walston. Jamie Douglas pitches well, keeping the Kernels right in this game. No runs in the 8th inning for South Bend. A magnificent catch by Giannotti to start the inning, robbing Alan Mottram of an extra base hit. There were no South Bend hits, a walk. There were no Kernel errors, and the Silverhawks strand a man. They've left 6 on the day. The Kernels are right on the heels of South Bend as we go to the home half of the 8th. It's South Bend 6, the Kernels 4. You're tuned to Memorial Day Baseball here in the Zone.
At Zimmerman's, we believe that the voice of the customer speaks the loudest. Let's hear what our customers have to say.
We chose Zimmerman because our family has been buying cars. I guess we're probably the 3rd generation to buy cars here at Zimmerman's.
My family's bought 18 cars at Zimmerman's. 18. I ought to get a little bonus or something, wouldn't
We build our reputation on one satisfied customer at a time. On behalf of everyone at Zimmerman's, I want to thank you for your business.
Everyone wants their print and copy needs to be done right and to be done on time. Copyworks will meet those expectations. Copyworks will see to it that your work is of the highest quality. They'll do that by consulting with you at your place of work. Copyworks stands behind their work for you. It will be done right and it will be done on time. You can count on Copyworks to come through for you. When it's important to you, Copyworks lets your work shine through.
Copyworks, Copyworks.
If you're looking for a way to treat frequent heartburn, why not ask your doctor for his opinion? Then maybe go get a second opinion, even a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, a 7th, and 8th. We're willing to bet you'll hear Prilosec OTC quite a bit. Because now doctors and pharmacists are recommending Prilosec OTC more than any other OTC acid reducer. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. It's possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days for treating frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief, based on sheriff recommendations.
That familiar song is the Chicken Dance. And Julia, what is the Colonel Pep crew doing to get the crowd involved?
Oh, they're on top of the dugouts doing the dance themselves. I remember learning the Chicken Dance in, I think, 1st or 2nd grade.
You're lucky. I never learned it until I got into minor league baseball. Here's a hard hit drive to deep left, and it is a spectacular catch by Jeremy Millens. Jeremy Millens rammed into the 8-foot-high green padded wall and took an extra base hit away from Freddy Sandoval. Freddy narrowly missed a home run, was robbed of an extra base hit in left by Jeremy Millens. Hippolito Guerrero, a new pitcher on for the Silverhawks, and Freddy Sandoval, first pitch swinging, batting right-handed, just about belted one over the wall. Now Aaron Peel takes a strike. We'll give you the final line on the starter, Austin Shappy, in a moment. Hippolito Guerrero, a 19-year-old from the Dominican Republic, misses high and away. The first pitch, I guess, was a strike, so it's 1-1 to Peel. Guerrero was the winner Saturday. Pitched one scoreless inning against the Kernels to earn a win. Now a little dribbler foul towards the Silverhawk dugout. Julia, what's Hippolito Guerrero done this season?
Well, he's 1-1 just like Jamie Douglas was. He has a 2.08 average, or ERA. He's pitched 21.2 innings, no home runs, given up 11 walks, and 13 strikeouts.
A slider low and into Peel, and it's 2-2 to Aaron. I mean, Jeremy Millens has been a Colonel killer in this series. 2-run homer to win the game in the ninth yesterday. A spectacular catch to rob Freddy Sandoval of an extra base hit leading off the eighth. A high pop foul near the Colonel dugout, and I'll be darned. The catcher, Wilkin Castillo, went over in front of the Colonel dugout and made a terrific play. That Colonel dugout was absolutely silent as Wilkin Castillo had to go about 80 feet to his right on the warning track material in front of the Colonel dugout, and Wilkin Castillo made the grab of the Aaron Peel foul pop. 2 gone here in the bottom of the eighth inning, 6-4 in favor of the South Bend Ball Club.
The league is hitting .218 against Guerrero.
Hippolito, the winner here on Saturday night. Chris Walston batting with 2 out, nobody on in the bottom of the eighth, and he chops one to deep short. Mark Reynolds leaps from shallow left and throws, not in time. Terrific effort by the shortstop Mark Reynolds, but it's an infield single for Chris Walston, and that is the Colonel ninth hit of the afternoon. Walston grounded that one to deep short. How Mark Reynolds ever got enough on his throw from shallow left field with his momentum taking him towards the left field corner, I don't know, but he made it very close.
He threw that ball with one leg in the air, too.
A la Ozzie Smith and Sean Dunston and Larry Boa, some of the great National League shortstops, Mark Belanger, Alex Rodriguez, Omar Vizquel in the American League. Warner Madrigal with the long ball could tie this game. Strike one on the inside corner to Warner. The starter for South Bend, who's trying to go 8-1 on the year, Austin Shappy, lifted after 7 innings, gave up 4 runs on 8 hits, struck out 2, walked 2 in 7 innings. Guerrero delivers, and a little check swing by Madrigal, and he rolls it foul to the third base Silverhawk dugout. We can't wait to get the attendance, and it should be announced after the Colonel's bat here in the home half of the eighth inning, trailing 6-4. Big crowd here this afternoon. A smash into the right field corner could make it a 1-run game. Can Chris Walston score all the way from first? He's lumbering towards third, and they have to hold him there on Warner Madrigal's third hit of the afternoon. Warner Madrigal is 3 for 4. He drilled one into the right field corner with 2 out. Chris Walston was held at third, and the Kernels, with 2 out here in the bottom of the eighth inning, have a chance with their tying runs in scoring position to tie the game. The Kernels could tie the game here in the bottom of the eighth if Tommy Duenas could come through against Hippolito Guerrero.
Bobby Margani's made a good decision to keep Walston there at third.
He would have been cut down at the plate. Chris Walston is a terrific athlete, but for a guy 6'6", he just doesn't run real well. Nobody 6'6" runs with blazing speed.
You have big steps, but they don't come quickly, I suppose.
Exactly. Walston has shown a lot of good footwork around the base at first and a good glove, so we don't want to belittle his speed. He did very well to get to third, and Julia's right. It would have been a grave error had he tried to score on that double by Madrigal. Tommy Duenas could put the Kernels into a tie with a base hit. With 2 out, Walston reached on an infield single. Madrigal doubled him to third. And Hippolito Guerrero, the lefty, will work from the stretch. His catcher, Wilkin Castillo, decked out in black shin guards, a black chest protector, went out to have a word with the 19-year-old Dominican lefty, Hippolito Guerrero.
He went out there and slapped his knees and turned around and came back. I don't know what that means.
Probably something in the way of a secret code. The first pitch to Tommy. A high fly ball into right should end the inning. Carlos González, glasses down, didn't have to move a step, and he puts it away. Tommy Duenas, who had singled his last 2 times up, first pitch swinging, skies to right to end the Kernel threat in the 8th inning. Oh, for the big hit today. We just haven't been able to get it most of the spring, that big 2-out hit. No runs in the 8th for the Kernels, 2 hits. There were no South Bend errors, and the Kernels leave a pair. We've stranded 5. After 8 innings on Memorial Day, South Bend leads the Kernels 6-4. This is Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
I cannot see anyone but me. Baby, can't you see I know what's right for me? Don't tell me wrong from right. I know just what I like. Yeah, call me crazy, I don't care. Come feel the joy all of mine. Each generation has time. They got their own understand. I'm just shout it out.
It's Mike and Mike in the Morning on ESPN Radio, honoring the classics as only they can.
Is there a Hall of Famer right now on the New England Patriots? Right now, if their career ended right now. I'll give you one. Adam Vinatieri. Okay, that's 2. Bill Belichick. You could put Belichick in right now. The list of coaches who've won 3 Super Bowls, you could count on one hand. Hold on, then. Go ahead. Bill Belichick has been considered a great NFL head coach since he's been with the Patriots. Right. He has 3 Super Bowls. Right. You want to put him in. Right. Tom Brady has 3 Super Bowls. Nah, that's not the same thing being a player as being a coach. Why? Because it's just not. Okay. That's me like Colin Sidney, because. I mean, it doesn't. No.
So am I the only one to see a parallel here?
You got outfield? Sure. Let us feel the same. Why? I just thought I'd ask. Well, I just thought I'd tell you. Now tell me who's playing left field. Why? Because. Oh, he's center field.
Bridging the gap between generations, it's Mike and Mike in the Morning. Weekdays on ESPN Radio.
The Kernels had runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 out in the bottom of the 8th, but Hippolito Guerrero got Tommy Duenas to fly to right on a first pitch swing. We go to the top of the 9th. South Bend still ahead 6-4. The Silverhawks lead the Eastern Division by 2 games over Fort Wayne. They're 3.5 in front of Lansing. Meanwhile, the Kernels are in 8th place in the 8-team Western Division first half standings. An unfamiliar place for a Kernel ball club. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim have the number 1 ranked farm system in baseball, according to Baseball America. A ground ball to shallow third. Freddy Sandoval vacuums it up on the grass. Freddy was playing shallow for Emilio Bonifácio, and Bonifácio is thrown out by Freddy Sandoval. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 9th inning. A lot of the great talent that was in the Los Angeles system has moved up the ladder, and Julia Jansen, we meant to do this yesterday, and here in the top of the 9th, we'll get to as many familiar names as possible. Let's start with last year's Kernels, who are now Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, and a pitch inside has Wilkin Castillo, a switch-hitting catcher, jackknifing out of the way. Let's start with some of our familiar hitters from last year. Julia?
We'll remember Blake Balcom. He actually has 8 doubles already this season and 3 home runs and 14 RBIs out in the California League.
And his average?
His average is .248.
Okay, let's get to the guy that won the Midwest League batting title last year, Howie Kendrick, in a moment. The 2-0 to Castillo. A strike at the knees as he faked a bunt. How's Howie Kendrick doing?
Very well. He's hitting .373. He has 29 RBIs already, 9 home runs, 11 doubles, and 4 triples.
What's his average again?
.373.
That's torrid. That's red hot. A drive to right. Warner Madrigal broke in, now breaks back and has it. Warner Madrigal, with a fancy piece of footwork, had to dance around in a circle, and he made the catch on the line drive by Wilkin Castillo. 2 out here in the top of the 9th. Jamie Douglas has pitched well to keep the Kernels in this game. Howie's Keystone combo mate here last year was Brandon Wood.
I was just going to say, Brandon Wood is doing pretty well, too. He's hitting .311. He's got 16 doubles, 2 triples, 17 home runs, and get this, 46 RBIs already this season.
Now you can see why Baseball America ranked the Los Angeles Angels farm system as the strongest in baseball. Strike one is in to Augustine Murillo. Ball one low, and Julia, Matt Brown was our regular third baseman last year.
Yeah, he's hitting above 300 as well, 314. He has 29 RBIs, 5 home runs, 19 doubles, and 1 triple.
The 1-1 to Augustine Murillo. Outside, today Murillo, 1 for 4, reached on an error ahead of a 2-run homer by Carlos González, the on-deck hitter, back in the third inning. Kernels have been back all afternoon, trails 6-4. Augustine Murillo rips an extra base hit, I think, down the left field line. It ricochets off the tarp, and the throw to second by Peel, not in time. It was a close play. Aaron Peel played the carom off the tarp in front of the Randy Kiel-Confidence Picnic Pavilion very well, but not well enough to prevent Augustine Murillo from bashing his second double of the afternoon. Murillo doubled in the first inning. Man, this Augustine Murillo hitting .347, 9 homers, 35 RBIs. He has 68 hits in 50 games. He leads the Midwest League in hits, home runs, RBIs, and runs scored. He is some kind of well-rounded player striving to be the league's MVP. Here's Carlos González, and he lifts one into left center. Richard Giannotti on the run, glasses down, and Richard's been doing it all afternoon with excellence. Richard Giannotti races in to make the catch and end the inning. How many putouts for Richard Giannotti today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 putouts, 7 putouts by my count, Julia. You can double check for Richard Giannotti. The stage is set for a Kernel comeback in the bottom of the 9th inning. In the top of the inning, no runs for South Bend, 1 hit. There were no Kernel errors. The Silverhawks leave a runner. They've stranded 7. We go to the bottom of the 9th, and the Kernels trail South Bend 6-4. This is Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
Planting season is in full bloom, and Peck's Flower Shop and Garden Center has the best plant selection in the area, plus all the expert advice you need to make your plants grow their best. This Memorial Day weekend, plant a tree. Now through Monday, potted shade, flowering, and fruit trees are on sale 33% off the regular price. Choose from Peck's large selection of strong, hardy trees and save 33% off regular prices, cash and carry, no warranty. Colorful blooming tropical plants for patio pots are also on sale, 25% off the regular price. Peck's reminds you it's a perfect time to plant your flower beds, vegetable gardens, perennial gardens, and rose gardens. The greenhouses at Peck's are bursting with colorful summer blooming, annual plants, and sturdy vegetable plants. For Memorial Day remembrances, Peck's has a great selection of fresh flowers, permanent floral arrangements, and colorful garden planters. Peck's is open until 5 o'clock Saturday and Sunday, and on Memorial Day from 8 to 4. Peck's, flowing with Eastern Iowa since 1956.
When we met, it's spaghetti, we would never forget the Ojanos. Now it's where mi amore and I dine in. We carry out the lunch and the dinner all the time for lasagna, ravioli, mandacati, cannelloni, tortellini, or try their delicious salads and sub sandwiches too. The Ojanos is the hometown taste of Italy. For your next meal with friends and a family, remember the Ojanos with 5 convenient locations for the pasta that makes you sing.
This crowd of 2,658 is revved up for a Kernel rally. 6-4 South Bend, bottom of the 9th. Jordan Renz cuts on the first pitch from Hippolito Guerrero and fouls it straight back, strike 1. Renz this afternoon, 1 for 2 with a walk. Jordan singled and scored in the Kernel 3-run 7th inning. Renz is a right-handed batter, and he backs away from a pitch that nips the inside edge for strike 2. 6-4 Silverhawks. We had a 5-1 lead going into the top of the 9th inning yesterday and lost the game 6-5. Silverhawks scored 5 in the 9th. Jordan Renz powders one high and deep onto the Papa John's Plaza. Julia, that attendance again, very impressive.
Definitely is. I'd be crazy. You'd be crazy not to come out to a day like this and come to a game.
2,658 did just that. And they're hoping the Kernels can rally. Jordan Renz hits a towering pop-up to second. backpedaling onto the grass, and now coming back towards the infield, the glove it is Emilio Bonifácio. Jordan Renz has started the Colonel ninth by popping out the second, one away here in the ninth inning. The batter is Richard Giannotti. Richard has had a magnificent day in the field and at the plate. He has 8 putouts in center field, really 9. They took one away from him. He swings and misses on a pitch in the dirt, strike one. Richard Giannotti will try to reach to bring the tying run to the plate here in the Colonel ninth inning. 6-4 Silverhawks. Richard corks one foul, a worm burner past third, strike 2 to Richard Giannotti. Richard's batting right-handed for the first time against lefty Hippolito Guerrero. Had things gone the way they should have, South Bend would be trying to hang on here in the ninth to gain one game in this series. Instead, it's the Colonels scrambling to get a split. Richard Giannotti golfs one high in the air to shallow right. The second baseman gives way to right fielder Carlos González. Carlos has it in right. 2 gone in the Colonel ninth inning. Now Alexi Casilla at the plate. 6-4 Silverhawks. Bottom of the ninth inning. Hippolito Guerrero is trying to save it for starter Austin Shappy. If he does, it'll be Shappy's 8th win of the season, and it would be Hippolito Guerrero's first save. There's a line drive into shallow right, and coming on is Carlos González. He has it to end the game. Alexi Casilla lines to right, and that does it. The Colonels win Friday night 7-4, then drop the next 3, 7-5, 6-5, and today 6-4. 6-4 South Bend. Totals, highlights, and more coming your way next on the Colonel Curtain Call. This is Colonel Baseball in the Zone.
Welcome back. We've got Lucy Lawn Chair on line 1.
Hi, I need help. My owners are having a big backyard barbecue this weekend. I know I'm not going to be able to entertain that many people by myself.
Tell them Menards has all the patio furniture they need to keep their guests comfortable.
Well, they could really use something with an umbrella.
A 9-piece patio set with umbrella, table, side table, and 6 padded folding chairs is just $169. Thanks for calling, Lucy. Hopefully your owners are listening and on their way to Menards for big savings on patio furniture.
Now during Menards Outdoor Leisure Sale, save big on patio furniture in all the latest styles, including wicker, wrought iron, and padded sets at huge savings. Or check out the 5-piece fireside chat set. It features 4 deep seating cushion chairs and granite top table that can be used as a fire pit or cooler. Save big on patio furniture during Menards Outdoor Leisure Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
It's time for the Colonel's Curtain Call, right here on the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600 AM. With a recap of all the action, the State Farm Major League Scoreboard, plus a look ahead to the next Colonel's game, let's rejoin the voice of the Colonels, the one, the only John Rogers, here on the Zone, ESPN Radio 1600 AM.
And on this Memorial Day, the South Bend Silverhawks take the 3rd game in a row in this series. The Colonels started off well Friday night with a 7-4 victory, but 3 losses in a row send the Colonels into a 3-game losing skid, and hopefully better things on the horizon tomorrow when we open up a 4-game series against the Western Division leading Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, Eastern Division leading South Bend, taking 3 straight to end this series. The Silverhawks scored 2 in the 2nd inning off of Carl Jelena to take the lead early. Javier Brito singled to right. Alan Mottram then doubled him home. Mottram's doubled, a heroic effort by Richard Giannotti, who had 8 putouts in center field today. Mottram doubled past the diving Richard Giannotti into left center to score Javier Brito and make it a 1-0 game. Mottram was then bunted to third by Mark Reynolds, and he scored on a ground ball out to third off the bat of Jeremy Millens. 2-0 Silverhawks after an inning and a half. They made it 4-0 in the 3rd inning, and it was Carl Jelena on the mound. He retired the first two South Bend hitters. Augustine Murillo then reached on a ground ball to short. Backhand attempt by Sean Rodriguez. He couldn't come up with it, and it was an error charged on Sean. Wouldn't you know it, the next batter, Carlos González, belted his third home run of the year, a two-run blast over the right field tri-vision signs, 4-0 South Bend after 2.5 innings. The Silverhawks made it 5-0 in the fifth inning. Emilio Bonifácio had one hit today. It came in the fifth. It was a one-out triple down the right field line. Wilkin Castillo then singled into center to plate Emilio Bonifácio, and that made it 5-0 Silverhawks. The Kernels scored their first run in the bottom of the fifth inning. Tommy Duenas, a one-out single. He advanced to third on a fielder's choice ground out by Richard Giannotti that forced Jordan Renz at second. It was 4-6. And then Alexi Casilla singled into right field. Duenas scored to make it 5-1. Richard Giannotti, who was at first base with two out, was thrown out by the right fielder at third base to end that Kernel fifth inning. But the Kernels scored, and it was 5-1 after 5. South Bend made it 6-1 in the seventh inning. A one-out double by Wilkin Castillo, his second hit of the day, and then a two-out single into right by Carlos González, the right fielder who had 3 runs driven in today. His two-out RBI single made it 6-1 in favor of the Silverhawks. The Kernels, before this big crowd of over 2,600, came to life, though, with one out in the seventh and made a game of it. Warner Madrigal singled to left, went to second on a base hit into left by Tommy Duenas, and then Jordan Renz loaded the bases with a single into center field. With the bases loaded and one out, Richard Giannotti delivered home Madrigal with a sacrifice fly to center. That made it 6-2 Silverhawks. Alexi Casilla then belted a 2-run double into the left center field alley with 2 out, chasing home Duenas and Renz, and that made it a 6-4 game. But that's all the Kernels could manage against starter and winner Austin Shappy and relief pitcher lefty Hippolito Guerrero. Freddy Sandoval led off the 8th inning in a 6-4 game against Guerrero and chased left fielder Jeremy Millens to the wall with a deep drive. And then with 2 out in the 8th inning, Chris Walston reached on an infield single. Warner Madrigal got his third hit of the day, lining a double into the right field corner. And Tommy Duenas at the plate with 2 out and 2 on. With a base hit, could have tied the game, but first pitch swinging, Hippolito Guerrero got Tommy to fly to right field. The Kernels went down without a whimper in the bottom of the 9th and lost this one 6-4. Here's the final line score for the Eastern Division leading South Bend Silverhawks: 6 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. South Bend stranded 7 runners. The Kernels 4 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, and it came in front of a 2-run homer, and the Kernels left just 5 men on. The winning pitcher for the Eastern Division leading Silverhawks was their starter, Austin Shappy. He's 8-1. The Kernel loser was Carl Jelena. His record is now 2 wins and 3 losses. The game only took 2 hours and 25 minutes, and on Memorial Day, 2,658 hardy Kernel fans saw the Kernels bow to South Bend 6-4. We'll be back in just a moment with our Access Direct play of the game. 6-4 Silverhawks. This is Kernel Baseball in the Zone.
With graduations and weddings upon us, you may be giving or receiving gifts and presents. Cedar Rapids Solid Waste and Recycling reminds you that they do not accept gift wrapping paper in your blue curbside recycling box. Instead, try to recycle by reusing old gift paper. Since wrapping paper should not be put in your blue curbside recycling box, you can throw it away in your garbage if you don't reuse it. Enjoy gift giving this season, but remember that gift wrapping paper is not recyclable.
Your home is a powerful asset. Managed wisely, it can help you with home improvements, tuition, and other expenses. Wells Fargo Home Equity Financing is the key. With flexible terms, competitive rates, and affordable payments, our bankers have the knowledge and resources to help you find the best financing for your needs. Talk with a Wells Fargo banker today and see how home equity financing can help you reach your next stage. Wells Fargo, the next stage, equal housing lender.
We're back. The Colonel Curtain call here in the zone as South Bend wins their third in a row to send their first half record to 31-20. The Silverhawks were 6-4 winners here this afternoon. Access Direct is now proud to present our Access Direct play of the game. Access Direct is undergoing a hiring initiative. They're looking for team players. You can apply by logging on to their website, www.accdir.com. That Access Direct website, again, to peruse their fabulous career opportunities, www.accdir.com, or you can join the team at Access Direct by calling them at 261-0260. Access Direct has some of the most fabulous benefits anyone could ever want from a workplace. Medical, dental, vision insurance, a 401k savings plan, casual dress code, and it's a fun, friendly atmosphere in which to work. That's Access Direct. They're looking for team players. Our Access Direct play of the game, in the seventh inning, the Kernels loaded the bases, trailing 6-1. Richard Giannotti made it 6-2 with a sacrifice fly to center. That chased home Warner Madrigal. With runners at first and second and 2 out, Alexi Casilla was the Colonel batter. And let's listen in to our Access Direct play of the game.
This is the first inning that he started to kind of aim the pitches to. Alexi Casilla batting .245. Wallops one into left center. Way back. It's going to get to the gap and go to the wall. One run is in to make it 6-3. That's Tommy Blanius. Here comes Jordan Wren following him. The relay throw home. Not in time. And it's a 6-4 game in favor of the Silverhawks on a 2-out, 2-run double by Alexi Casilla.
Alexi Casilla, the leadoff batter, drove in 3 of the Colonel 4 runs, and we chose his 2-run 7th-inning double as our Access Direct play of the game in a Silverhawks 6-4 win. Before we take our final break, we want to again thank two terrific Colonel fans, John Duncan, Connie Duncan. We're going to savor those chocolate chip cookies that you gave us, and thank you for your annual visit here. I know you make it out an awful lot during the season, but it's always a lot of fun to have you take the game in here from the broadcast booth. Well, we thank you, John Duncan and Connie Duncan, kind enough to stay during the Colonel Curtain call to thank us and to say goodbye on this Memorial Day. We have scores coming up next on the State Farm Major League scoreboard. Colonel Broadcast Assistant Julia Jansen is standing by with those. 6-4 South Bend. This is Colonel Baseball in the Zone.
I'm Dave Shea. For 35 years, I was news anchor for Channel 2. Now, with gas prices at $2 a gallon, check out Randy Kill Honda and save with great fuel mileage on all Hondas in stock. The safest family sedan, the Honda Accord, will definitely save the family pocketbook with 34 miles to the gallon. Get even better mileage with a compact Civic, getting you there at 38 miles to the gallon. Or check the amazing fuel mileage of the Honda Civic Hybrid, 48 miles to the gallon, and that's in city driving. Randy Kill Honda has a large selection of pre-owned Hondas, too, all with exceptional fuel mileage. Check them out at www.randykiel.com. Also, Randy Kiel offers a 7-year, 100,000-mile confidence guarantee on new vehicles. You can take my word for it, but you may also want to talk with other Honda owners. They're people you know, your friends, your neighbors, maybe even your relatives. I'm saving on gas prices by driving my Honda, and you can too. See Randy Kiel Honda on Center Point Road Northeast.
2,658 enthusiastic Colonel fans spent part of their Memorial Day under ideal conditions here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. They saw the Colonels fall behind 6-1, rally for 3 in the bottom of the 7th, but fall 2 runs short of gaining a split in this 4-game series with the Eastern Division leading South Bend Silverhawks. South Bend captures the series finale 6-4. Here on the Colonel Curtain call, State Farm Insurance agents Dale Thompson, Al Shetler, Lanny Peterson, and Gary Schubat proud to step to the plate with the State Farm Major League scoreboard, and with it, here's Colonel Broadcast Assistant Julia Jansen.
Okay, over in the American League, there's only 1 game in progress. The rest are all later tonight. That's over at U.S. Cellular Field. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, our own parent team, are playing the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox are leading the Angels 3-1 in the bottom of the sixth. Later tonight at Fenway Park, Baltimore takes on Boston. Tampa Bay will take on Oakland a little bit later. And at Safeco Field, Seattle hosts Toronto. Over in the National League, there are two finals at PNC Park. Pittsburgh edged Florida 3-2 in 10 innings. At Minute Maid Park, Cincinnati crushed Houston 9-0. And over in Washington, D.C., you had the Washington Nationals over Atlanta 3-1. Or that's not final, it's in progress. That's in the top of the eighth inning right now. And then later tonight at Coors Field, Colorado hosts the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Chicago Cubs play at Dodger Stadium tonight. And finally at Petco Park, Milwaukee is playing at San Diego.
Well, Julia, thanks for that complete look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard. It's brought to us by State Farm Insurance agents Gary Schubat, Dale Thompson, Al Shetler, and Lanny Peterson. This wonderful 8-game homestand continues tomorrow as we welcome in the Western Division leading Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. The Timber Rattlers are in a real dogfight with the Swing of the Quad Cities and Clinton for the top slot in the Western Division standings. We know what that feels like. The last 3 seasons, the Kernels have battled for first-half titles in the West and have earned them 2 out of the last 3 seasons. We'll have to try to get back on track tomorrow. A stiff challenge facing the Seattle Mariner minor leaguers, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. We'll have the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show for you at 6:10. 6:10 South Slope Communications Triple Play Show time. Legendary sportscaster Bob Brooks will be here. So will Iowa Sportscaster of the Year Scott Unash. Julie and I invite you to meet us at the stadium. We'll be here as well for the opener of a 4-game series with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. This afternoon, it was the Silverhawks flying past the Kernels 6-4 to win their 3rd straight in this series. For Hall of Fame sportscaster Bob Brooks and Kernel broadcast assistant Julia Jansen, this is John Rogers wishing you a very, very fine and memorable and meaningful rest of your Memorial Day. We also want to thank Sean Patty, our in-studio engineer. Sean Patty did a fine job at 2nd Avenue and 5th Streets. A P.S. to this final segment of our Colonel Curtain Call, with Scott Unash being here tomorrow, make sure to tune in because Scott will tell you all about his experience at Indianapolis, where Danica Patrick, the 23-year-old female driver from the state of Illinois, finished 4th, making racing history. I'm sure Scott will have lots of fun stories about his experience at the Indy 500, the greatest spectacle in racing. 6-4 South Bend, that does it from Veterans Memorial Stadium. So long. This has been Colonel Baseball in the Zone.
This has been a special sports presentation from The Zone, ESPN Radio, 1600 AM, Cedar Rapids. Now back to our regularly scheduled ESPN programming already in progress.